want to go for an in-depth, okay, with high clarity analysis. In such cases, we have to go for Seaborn library. Imagine you want to forecast your time series analysis with a critical stock data. In such cases, we have to go for Seaborn library, not Matplotlib. But whenever you want to go for a basic analysis like sentiment analysis, or whenever you want to cluster, when you want to go for a k-means clustering, in such cases, you can go for Matplotlib. So just like we got the output here, you can see that the reviews have been classified as positive, negative, and neutral. So positive means whenever the value is, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see some examples like pay location located perfect walking distance or good sized clean
Just
room, something like that. So all these are positive reviews. So when you filter like this, yeah, Sir is doing a pivot table now. He has dropped sentiment to rows and he has also calculated the number of or count of sentiments. So we can see that the total number of positive sentiments is around 78, negative sentiments is around 5, and neutral is 8. Okay, so this is how you do the classification of sentiments. So sentiment, when you take sentiment analysis, you have only three output. Okay, either it is positive, negative, or neutral.
based on this, your students can carry out
So
this thing.
based on that only, we'll of you want to.
Okay. Anyone is having a doubt on this, you can ask it lively, or someone can do this before proceeding to the next session. I think you are clarified with the sentiment analysis today. Very simple explanation we have made. Anyone can come forward with any doubts, or you want to do anything like this, you can do before starting the
Sir,
next
I have one doubt.
session.
So after arriving at this negative, neutral, and positive scores, what other
Yes, ma'am.
things that we can try? What are all the other extensions that we can make for a good journal? Because this is
That's a
not
nice
sufficient.
question, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. No, no, this is not sufficient. Actually, there are many libraries are there, ma'am. This is only a small sentiment analysis we have worked. Now there are some AI-based sentiment analysis are there. Okay, called I think Professor Anu can name them. AI sentiment analysis. I forgot the name. Hugging Face. So there is something called Hugging Face sentiment analysis is there, where the results will be very accurate than what we have worked on. These are all very popular now. So there is a coding for this also. It is available, and there is another analysis. I think what's your name, madam? You asked a very right question, also.
Yes, sir. Teresa from
Sorry, I
Sastra.
lost the connection in between. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no issues, no issues. We are carrying out sentiment analysis.
Okay.
After then, you can do LDA, madam. That is called
LDA.
latent Dirklet. That we are
Distance.
going to show that also in the forthcoming session. Latent
Okay.
Dirklet allocation. So what LDA is called? LDA will cluster your document into so many divisions, and it will give you some insights. For example, imagine what department you belong to, madam.
Management, sir. HR, Human Resource
Oh, very,
Management.
very good, ma'am. So imagine you are collecting some HR papers from Scopus.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Ah,
imagine you are collecting some 1,200 papers. So based on the abstract, the Python will read all the 1,200 papers, and it will cluster into four. Okay, cluster one is talent management related paper. Cluster two is IR related papers. Cluster 3 is competency related paper. So likewise, it will classify you and it will give you a research gap. So this is called LD analysis. Since you have asked, we are interested to show you an LD analysis also. So there is some simple LDA is available with us. We can also show you how a papers can be classified into several areas. I think Professor Janathanan has joined. Professor, are you here? I think he will join shortly. So with this, I am just closing it. Simple LDA also, I want to show, since the professor has asked this now, we will show you how to go ahead with the simple LDA. So before that, you want to know what is LDA, right? So you can put it in your system. That is called topic modeling, latent Dirklet allocation. That's called topic modeling here, where your paper will be converted into so many clusters and it will give you like that. Could you understand this diagram, madam? Professor from management, you asked this question, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
From this diagram, you can understand.
So just to add on, LDA or topic modeling is an unsupervised machine learning. Okay, so we are giving all the rights to Python to do the clustering of, it will be arranging all the topics into clusters. Okay, so what
Yes,
happens
madam.
is whatever papers are common will come and fall under one topic or cluster. So it will be categorizing all the papers based on their reliability or relevance. That's why it is
Okay, you
known as
can see this.
unsupervised machine learning,
Ma'am,
where
it
we
can be done
don't,
for
where
keywords
minimal
also.
supervision is required. Yes, Gayatri ma'am.
Ma'am, it can be done
Can you
for
see this,
keywords
madam?
also.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking. Can you come again?
So,
No, no, ma'am. I said it can be done for keywords also. This technique, topic modeling, LDA. Keywords
you
also
can.
using
Keywords. Okay,
Uh,
you're asking about keywords. That is different,
ma-
ma'am. What happens here is it will go fetch all the topics, okay, where all the topics will be analyzed first. It is actually a keyword analysis only, but it works better than a keyword analysis. If you go for a normal keyword analysis, what happens is all the keywords will be fetched and it will give you a word cloud, right? That is basic keyword analysis. But here,
yes,
what
yes.
happens is it will go for a topic modeling. Okay, so we don't have to mention the keywords also. But when you go for a basic keyword analysis, you have to give what are the prominent keywords which needs to be searched within the data set, which is not needed when you go for a LDA or topic modeling.
And ma'am,
Python
for
will
a
take
data
care of
set,
it.
sorry,
Okay.
for a data set, what is an ideal kind of data set that LDA takes? What kind of files it takes?
it will take. I
If
think Professor
anything
Anu can add
about,
this.
yeah,
Sorry,
anything
couldn't
about
get you.
500 is also good.
No, no, 500 what? It's like PDF files, it's Excel file. What is the input file?
For
CSV file,
example,
madam.
ma'am, if you, yeah, CSV file only,
CSV.
ma'am. Imagine you want to do a topic modeling, okay, on a research topic like ethical AI. Okay, so you'll go to Scopus database and you'll search for the ethical data, I mean AI papers, okay, and you'll be downloading it as a CSV file. Professor Lim explained no on that day. In similar way, you're going to download the file. Now, based on that CSV file, you have to go for a topic modeling. So you want to see what are the prominent topics or clusters available in Gen AI area. Okay. So in such case, you can go for LDA. So minimum, I would suggest minimum 200 plus is enough. But if you want to go for a bigger topic modeling means 500 plus is a suggested size. What
So
do you
in
say,
the
Professor
CSV, the
Melissa?
number of files. So if I download CSV, and from
Hmm.
that CSV, we have 500 number of files,
Okay.
in data points.
No,
Hmm.
So
no.
this
Let
is to
me.
be put where? I mean, this is the.
Just a minute, ma'am. Just a
You'll be
minute.
uploading it. Just now you saw no upload file
Mhm.
option. Third did no. In similar way, LDA also you are going to upload the CSV file.
Just you can
Okay.
see this, ma'am. Since you have raised this doubt, we want to show you
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So before that, we will tell you what is actually she has rightly explained, and you can see that LDA is a unsupervised machine learning model, ML model. Okay, it will give you hidden themes. Some themes will be hidden inside, madam. That you can see from the published research paper. You can take this. You can write a SLR paper based on this. So since you asked, in the 2 minutes we will run this. Already we have done one thing here. So you may see this is a LDA code. It's a ready to use code. It will pre-process all the text. Like it will take all the titles and abstract alone. Can you see the step 3 process? There's a title and
Yes,
abstract is
sir.
there. It will
Hmm.
convert all the title and abstract into a single document, and it will tokenize. It will clean. Usually Excel sheets, know some empty columns will be there, many problems will be there, where we are going here by playing this thing. We are running this document, and you may see here we should have some scopus file where your professor Limas came gave you yesterday, right?
So
Sorry,
in
where
data
is
cleaning, there are many process, okay, like stop word removal, tokenization, lemmatization. So we have different pre-processing steps when you go for data processing. So what happens here is Python will take care of the data processing, stop word removal. You have heard about stop word, no? What is stop word? Like
Yes,
the
ma'am. All the unnecessary
yeah,
words
or yeah,
and or the
yeah,
all
all
of these
words
words.
will be removed. Okay, so
So that
everything will
once
be
we
taken
clean it,
by
so we have
Python.
the main essence of the data.
Exactly. So what sir have done here is he has chosen only two variables here. One is title, another one is abstract. If you want some other variables to be mentioned there means you can include that also in the coding itself.
Just you may see here, it's a simple LDA. So actually, it's not a part of the today's one, but being it as an example. So we have defined it as number of topics 5. If you want to give 4, you can give 4, and we are processing only the abstract and the title. So if you have any CSV file with you, like how Professor Lim has gave you yesterday, we can give it. For example, I might have some files with me. So imagine I'm just giving this paper means.
So that classified papers.
That is not working. I think some issues with the data. I think might be I'm having it as a for other sheet. It's a very big
Yeah,
data. It
this
is
one is
taking some
working.
time. So I
Mm-hmm.
think Professor Janathanan is here. He has joined. By the way, you can have a look at the CSV file also. So usually in
So
the
sorry to
post
interrupt.
downloaded CSV file, you can
So like
see
what you're
what all
doing right
the
now,
yeah.
sir, if I
Hmm.
just go one step behind,
Yes, ma'am.
so all of this I was like trying to reiterate
Hmm.
and learn. So it was written that we need to
Hmm.
do GenSim and whatnot things. So all this lemmatization and whatever terms
These
ma'am
are all
just
libraries,
mentioned.
madam.
So libraries have to be installed. All this
Hmm.
cannot show. We don't need to do that. We directly just
Hmm.
have this code in the collab and then we run this file. So we can commit
If
all the
you run
steps.
itself, it will install, madam. Just a minute, I will show you, madam. First of all,
Yeah,
what data I
ma'am.
have used, I will
Ma'am,
show
the
you.
coding is same, okay. Only the topics, whatever you want, you can mention. As of now, sir, I've given it as 4. So only 4 clusters will be formed with this LDA. So that clusters definition
You can
alone
see,
you can,
madam.
okay.
Okay. You can see author data is here, title is here. So we are going to analyze only the title and the abstract. So based on these two columns, it will give us some clusters. So I think it would have got uploaded now. So I think the file has got downloaded. Can you see here? The documents were clustered into so many clusters. You may see here, I think it is visible to all of you. The data I'm just filtering and I'm just classifying according to the clusters. So in zeros, so many papers have got clustered, and in one, so many papers would have got clustered, and in two, so many papers would have got clustered. That shows that these papers are having some interdependency on each other. So it is giving the tokens also. So social network, societal, anything related to social things that came in the paper dominant, sorry, the cluster 0, and in one you can see something related terms. Anything called perceived one, family, some languages and everything. In two, you can see something called migration, parental, immigration, family. So after doing this, we need to do many re-engineering. And I have made some confidence scores also. This is the confidence score, whether this topic is rightly allocated or not. For example, if you convert into percentage, you can see. So this particular paper has rightly allocated in cluster 0 because the dominant score is 99%. So you can simply put it as a percentage. This shows that our topics are very, very exactly allocated. So this is one form of doing the topic modeling. I just gave you overview, madam. Only if you run, you can understand. Okay. So
Sir,
hope I
would
have
you please,
clarified. Hmm. Hmm.
sir, would you please
Yes.
provide the code for running this LDA?
How the code is? The code is already ready, madam, with all the libraries. These are all the library. Okay. If you
No,
do
no,
not
sir, she's
install it,
asking for the code. She's asking for the code to be shared to her.
Yes, sir,
code
because
we will put it in the
I
folder,
can't do
madam.
coding. I am a management faculty and I can't do coding. If you can provide this code to
No,
us.
yeah,
No
yeah,
issues, ma'am. We'll drop it
we
in
will
the
give it,
folder.
madam.
No issues.
Okay, thank you so
Already
much.
there is a folder
Yeah,
here.
so you can use the same code, only the CSV file differs, okay? And you can mention the number of the topics which needs to be formed. by the
Hope you
Python.
can
That's
understand, right? If you can
okay.
understand, that is fine for us. We will share you all the codings, ma'am. If you look at the folder, my name and Professor Anu name is there. Whatever shared by us, the coding will be there in the folder itself. You can see. Okay.
Right,
So
sir. Thank you so
it's the
much.
time to
Yes.
welcome the Professor Janardhanan. Is here. We'll call him. Yeah, Professor Jana is already there in the meeting only. He's waiting for us. Hello, Professor. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir. We'll introduce you first formally, and then you can go for your session, sir. Yeah,
Of course, sir.
Professor Anu, please.
Yeah. So, dear participants, for today's both the sessions, we have Dr. Janardhanan Balakrishnan, Assistant Professor at NIT Trichy. So, Dr. Janardhanan holds an MBA and is a UGC NET JRF awardee and then earned his PhD from NIT Trichy. So, with over 9 years of experience spanning academic and industry, he's a passionate academic research. His research interests include cyber psychology, digital and social media marketing, technology-oriented marketing, smartphone game advertising, and MSME development and entrepreneurship. He has published over 22 international papers in reputed ABDC and SCI journals such as Journal of Business Research, Computers in Human Behavior, Industrial Marketing Management, and International Journal of Information Management. Dr. Janardhanan has collaborated with renowned scholars like Professor Mark and Dr. Pantia. His works been widely cited and recognized globally. His notable research on selfie, examining the psychological impact of excessive selfie taking, received extensive media coverage with over 650 newspapers features across 28 countries. As a dedicated mentor, he has guided over 100 postgraduate students and actively collaborates with international universities, including Nottingham, Trent, Middlesex, and Swania University in UK. Bridging marketing research, analytics, and consumer psychology, Dr. Janardhanan truly embodies the spirit of today's FDP theme. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Janardhanan Balakrishnan, a scholar, mentor, and inspiring researcher advancing the frontiers of marketing and technology. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, organizers, for giving a warm welcome, and also my pleasure in coming and interacting with you, the members of this workshop. So I know it's late evening, but anyway, I think it's a better time to learn any time. So I will share my screen now. We have many participants, and it'd be great, like if we can interact as much as possible and make this session more meaningful. Like we both
Would
can.
like to add, Professor Janardhanan has crossed 10,000 citations. We need to tell that also.
Nothing. Citations are just
Congratulations
one
for
of
that,
the.
sir.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much. So citation is one of the metrics, but there are many metrics that we can consider in research as of now going into it. And I can't share my. I think I cannot share because host has disabled participant. Can you check whether you can give me some privilege so that I can share my screen?
Do you enable it? He's not able to share his screen.
Now I can. Of course, okay. I hope like you can see my screen.
We can able to see. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, we will 1 minute. I think I've taken wrong PPT.
Sir, actually, your PPT was visible earlier. Mm.
No, I think I took a, wrong PPT. That's why I was looking into a correct PPT. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
It
it's
is possible.
customary that I always start with one question with all the participants. To understand, to get the meaning of what is research. So it will be like opening context that we can set ourselves because as what Professor Morley was saying that it was a large one like this. In fact, I had this particular one in my template that I was crossing 10,000. But anyway, this is not only milestone. Like we have many things to go on, and mostly our research has to be recognized as a management person. We have to recognize by the industry rather than only metric of the citations. But going for what has been like how many years? It's been 12 years. I have been publishing many parts. I have crossed many hurdles. A lot of rejections have come across. Uh, Maybe like I have published across 55 papers across A star A and 4 category. I have published anything. I have not touched FT50 yet. That is a bigger milestone that I keep in my mind. Maybe in over the years, FT50 is one of the targets, goal of my life. The moment I touch FT50, then I might file self-actualized. That is the only aspect, but still the motivations are very, very high. So this 12 years I've been running in this particular one, I've delivered a lot of workshop in online and offline to different countries and different participants. So it's always curious to understand what do I understand, what people understand by the term called research. So I would be glad if someone can share their insight to understand what is your perspective on research, what they think about what is research. Anyone, it
It's
would be glad if you can share it in chat. That would be great. If you can speak, it would be really great. Yes.
it's a structured way to find a solution to a problem. One
Yeah.
aspect.
Okay,
Or
structured. I like the Dr. Kirti is saying about the structure. Okay, I
Identifying
like the
the
word.
real-time problem.
Okay, identifying the real-time problem. Beautiful. What else?
finding the facts,
Okay,
discovering that what the fact is or the truth is.
okay. That's fact has to be research or fact stays at a fact, right? Fact stays as a fact. That is where the difference between science and social science comes into picture because
Yes,
science is about facts, social science is about dynamism. So facts
yes,
stay
right.
as a fact. So maybe we can extend the facts. Maybe we can extend the facts into a new dimension. But fact stays as fact. But very beautiful perspective to bring in. So what else you can anyone else think of the research?
Maybe even developing like new theories or the models.
Okay. Okay. These are developing theories or understanding a problem. These are like different branches which come out of research. So what is research in a very broad or very precise way. That is where we do it. Do you think like research is all about writing a manuscript? Do you think like research is all about publishing a paper? Do you think research is all about
It's
the
a careful and organized study
Yeah.
of materials. It's a
do
careful
we
and
research?
organized study of materials.
Okay, okay. Is it like research is something that we do with a specific context, or do we do research in daily life? That is the bigger question I want to ask. That means from waking up the morning and while speaking with your friend, while texting to your friend, or while walking in the road, is it like we do research each and every time, or we do research in only from the point of view of a manuscript? That is a bigger one. If we think like that, is where the researcher term become very, very beautiful. Because when you say like I am a researcher and I have published, I have crossed 10,000 citations, I have crossed 150,000 citations, and if we cannot attribute the same researcher term in a real life scenario, no, we are only a manuscript thing. We have not gone into a research, because I know some of the people uh, who have not published a single paper, but you have the blend of researcher into it, So what is quality of a researcher you think of? What is the quality of researcher you think of? So that even though if the person doesn't publish a paper, but the analogy of being a researcher is well visible. So what is that quality that you think of within that?
Observation from
Observation.
the
Observation is the only quality of researcher. What else? Is observation. Of course, everyone observes, but how?
So finding an easy way or an easy solution for any problem, sir.
Is it necessary to be easy? Is it necessary to be easy, Dr. Manju?
Research is exploring the unexplored things.
Okay, exploration. Okay,
Exploring the unexplored thing, like that is what we are again researching for something.
Okay,
That is
we
research.
researching. Okay, we are
Curious.
researching.
Extending the knowledge on something like.
Okay, that
which you
becomes
undertake.
cross-sectional. Okay, that is again descriptive. From exploratory descriptive, you moved into it. Good. So I'll just stop here because we have a lot of things to cover. That's what I was saying. From a tomato seller, or for example, imagine that you're buying a tomato. You're buying a tomato, and the moment there are 5 stores into it, imagine, and you move into a market. 5 vendors are there who are selling tomato, and you want to buy a tomato. And what are the things you will consider while buying the tomato? What is your mind as process? You want to choose a vendor there to buy the tomato. So what basis you choose a vendor?
Quality,
size, color,
price. What are these? Freshness. What are these?
Quality.
Comfort. I understand. Quality, quantity, color, freshness, hardness, everything is there. But what are these? What
Criteria.
Are these called as?
parameters.
Instead of
These are variables.
exactly.
Characteristics.
Exactly. These are variables.
These are variables.
Variables. That is a beautiful thing that we have to think about in a broader sense. There are 2 things that we have to think about broader sense. One is one thing is known as constant. Another one is called variable. So there is nothing that is very difficult to say something is constant. Everything is a variable. Sun is constant. Temperature is variable. Physical identities are constant. Even they may change it. Everything. Yes, everything becomes a variable at one point of time. So these variables we don't have. Can you mute? Can you mute anyone?
और भी 1-2 लिए होंगे शायद मैं थोड़ा कट गई थी पीछे.
Okay. So everything is constant. Nothing is constant by nature unless the physical identity is not much standardized. For example, you take a rock, it can be a constant. Variable is something which keeps varying daily basis, yearly basis, monthly basis, or minute basis. It keeps varying. That's what I told. Sun is a constant, but temperature is a variable. So there is a broader structure that we take into a daily life, that we process everything by variable. For example, maybe a tomato vendor or maybe you brush, how amount of paste you require, the size, the pattern of brushing you can take, or while choosing a school, while choosing a travel, while choosing a vehicle, while booking Ola. So anything that you process in day-to-day life has a pattern. So how does a researcher observes everything, or researcher proceeds with these aspects compared to a non-researcher? That is where the real meaning of research comes into it. So what is that? That's something that researcher has, something, a quality which non-researchers will have, which normal people can have. So researcher is not about publishing papers. Researcher is not about coming and sitting in laptop and doing a daily research or getting citations or anything. No. Researcher is something blended with quality to approach same thing. Whatever you see here, there is a pattern here. So what is the pattern you can see here? What is the pattern you can see here? Then we'll go into the aspect of research. One is you can see a road, another one is rails, another one is a dam, another one is the the fruits and vegetables which is stored in that. What is the pattern that you can see?
Sir,
Why there should
infrastructure development.
infrastructure development? Okay. What else you can think of? But how come fruits will come under infrastructure development? That's really a question. Okay.
Sir, availability of supermarket in the locality, I think.
Okay. So that you have bringing
Like
a
an
context into
back-end process,
definite path.
Resources.
back-end process
Resources.
resource.
like seeds,
No,
quality seeds and
I'll go
farmers
into
and
it
soil,
because we have
fertilizers,
Sir, a definite
pesticides.
path.
okay. I'll go into this context. Wait. So what happens? You find, why can't the road be plain? Why you need two ways in a road and multiple pathways in a road? Why a rail need a compartments? Why a dam needs 4-1? Why fruits has to be arranged in a way? There is always a pattern that you can think of. That pattern is called systematic. That pattern is called systematic. So it is not about whether you find a solution or identify a problem itself. The major one is how systematic you are to do that. That is where you are tagged as researcher. For example, imagine that you get a WhatsApp message about the economy is weak in India or economy is very good in India, and you forward to 10,000 people or 1,000 people or even one person without understanding it, what the actual message is, then we are graded as non-researcher. Imagine the moment someone says economy in India is very weak, the moment you see that statement, what happens is your mind started progressing and you try to approach that particular dilemma in a systematic way.
Finding the
The
solution.
moment you go into a systematic way, our mind makes a limited number of errors. Because your tendency of approaching becomes more systematic. So you try to do it. That is where the real cadre of being a researcher becomes more vulnerable. It becomes more vulnerable. Okay. I think I'll switch off the camera. Wait a moment. Or I will take. Okay. So that is where the real aspect of so someone, if something, if someone asks that you what is research, that's very important. There cannot be any way to explain what is research without using this word systematic. Very important thing, because you find a very strong problem, or someone told about finding easy solution. Yes, of course, you can find easy solution, but whatever you do in research, it doesn't have a systematic pattern or systematic way of doing. There is no point of doing that. I've done a research. No, there is definitely not a point. Imagine a case. I'll give an example. You want to understand the HR, human resource personnel's mental agony while sending people outside. Understand carefully. You are trying to understand. Lot of this layoffs is happening everywhere. Lot of layoffs is happening. Lot of retrenchment is happening everywhere. So, many people think like HRs are very good in sending people outside, but imagine the mental agony that HRs will get into it, because sending 100 people out of a company, it is like they will get into a lot of mental stress because they are damaging the livelihood of 100 people. So imagine you want to understand how these HR feel about sending 100 people. So what kind of methodology will follow in this case? Anyone? What kind of methodology will follow? Whom will you, who is your target market? How will you do it? Anyone? My question is very simple. You want to understand the mental agony of human resource personnel while laying off people from a company. Very simple. You want to understand the mental agony. You want to see the painfulness of the HRs while sending people out of the company. It's happening everywhere. People are sending daily. It happens. One of my friend was given a pink slip, and another of my friend asked us, "Is HR in the same company?" I asked him why you gave the pink slip to the same person. He told, "What can I do? They gave me 500 list of employees. They asked me to identify the least 100 employees, and we have to give it." And even I am very sad. That's what they told. So how will the HR feel? What kind of methodology will follow to understand, answer this research question?
Maybe they are following the performance appraisal system, sir.
That's okay, but you want to understand. They are following it. I accept it, but I'm asking.
Sir, I think we will have to go for a qualitative study, and maybe we have some discussion or an interview or a
Very
talk
good. With whom? With whom?
to get a detailed
Of course, you can
access
say
to
that.
what they feel about giving the pink slips and how do they feel before or
That's
while
what. To
dealing with
whom?
it.
To whom? To whom you are going to do this interview?
See, you are talking about the HR. What
So
are the
you want to
sentiments
do
of
a
HR?
qualitative interview HR. Okay, you want to do a
Yes, so you
qualitative
will have
interview
to
HR.
talk to the people who are issuing the pink slips to understand
good.
how they feel. So
Okay, very
this
good.
would be more a qualitative research.
Okay. We want to understand a qualitative study. Okay, you want to do a qualitative study with HR people to understand agony or the initial exploratory aspects of agony. What anyone else in methodology? Thank you, doctor. Anyone else who can think of this one? Anyone else can give a different methodology part?
Probably we can do an in-depth
Very good.
capture the emotions and do some sentiment analysis.
It's like empathy.
Okay, it's empathy. Of course, it's all in line. Do you whether a HR in-depth interview or general interview, everything comes under qualitative. Anyone else have a different view on this? Anyone else try to add values towards it or point towards it? No? Okay, good. So there are two ones. One is you can do it by qualitative. Another one is you can do quantitative. But what happens is when you do quantitative is when you go by a proper structured questionnaire or anything, you might not get the essence of deep interaction with people, as what rightly said by everyone. Dr. and Professor Saraswati, they both explained in a point that you want to know the in-depth ideology of HR because you want to know the emotions of HR. So you cannot generally get a questionnaire and get it done. So, and also this studies are very new, qualitative by nature. It requires a lot of emotions to be shared. So it's very apt methodology is qualitative, very apt methodology is qualitative in-depth interview. But it doesn't stop a point that it can be investigated by quantitative terms also. It can be investigated in qualitative terms also. Of course, if not, you can go by some literature and you can also provide a solution or conceptual understanding based on literature also. So if you pile up everything, there are multiple ways that you can solve a problem, or you can multiple ways you can understand a problem, or even you can understand a solution. So in major cases, there is always something called true score. There is another one we call something as observed score. What is true score is, what is a real score? What is a real? For example, why do the students give less feedback to the teacher? Imagine a case. Why do students give less feedback to the teacher? Because the teacher is teaching very well, but a teacher is not awarding more marks. A teacher is not very transparent, or a teacher is very strict. So these are the reasons. Understand? This is the true score. These are the true reasons. But what happens is, when you ask a survey to students, Students are saying that they are not teaching well. Teacher is not teaching well. So, though the true variables are different, but the observed variables are, but this happens again and again in research. That means like there will be a different reason, but what we get will be a different reason. That is always in research. That means like not always your true score is equal to observed score. That is very, very critical. How can you make a true score as and then your observed score equal? That is the main role of a researcher. That means what is the real score? What is the real aspect? What is the real problem? Identifying that and matching with the observed problem is what important, but most of the case it is not aspect that we tend to observe something else which is not true. Which is not true. Very simple that we tend to say that sun rises in east, but the fact is sun never rises, earth revolves. That is a real aspect. Sun doesn't rise. Sun is stationary. Sun is stationary. Earth revolves around the sun. But what we say, sun rises in east and sets in west. That's what we say. So that is what true score is different. Observed score is different. But what we tend to think, whatever we observe, that is true score. We will discuss about it from the point of sample and population. You will understand far better from a secondary data point of view. Okay, so we have this particular one. So coming back into it, the real aspect of researcher is it's not about exploring new. It is not about finding a solution in easy way or hard way. It's not about exploring a problem. It is most of the time how you're doing it systematically, what makes a researcher. Even if you choose a tomato, you can do it better way. You can go into a tomato shop, wherever the bright light is there, you can buy and come. Another one is there is a vendor who is speaking well, you can buy and come. These are called as heuristics or perspectives, where you demand your research goes down, but you go by your context. But research is not that way. You properly analyze variables. Your brain is the biggest data pool. Your brain is the biggest data mining pool. It is not any softwares. It is not any collapse or anything. So your brain is the biggest data mining tool. So if you take research in a data mining perspective in a systematic way, of course, you can be termed as a researcher more than your manuscript can giving into it. So we'll jump into the secondary data analysis eventually. Before that, some basics that we have to cover, and we will jump into a secondary data problem. First one is we have the step one research process. We have a problem definition, and then we have approach to the problem. Then we have formulating a research design, and then we have a field work and data analysis and preparing the report. This is what the structure that we take our research with. This is the structure, and it need not be linear. And the same way, it is not advised to be non-linear also. If there is, it can be a linearity, and of course, but it should be mostly agile methodology. That it should be iterative. It should be iterative that you can go back to another step at any point of time and you correct it. That is what I mean by agile methodology. So you can go back again and again and do it. So how will you define a problem, if I can ask you? How will you define a problem? Is problem evident in each and every case, or is there any research question without a problem? So how will you define a problem? Any ideas how will you define a problem or problem definition?
Based on our ideas.
Ideas, okay, thank you.
Gaps in.
Thank you, doctor.
Gaps in the existing.
Now it's come gaps in existing literature. That can be problem definition. That's is it like we get into literature in the first phase? That is what. Even without identifying the problem, if we go into literature, that is the biggest question. Or anyone else?
Based on the observation.
Okay.
Something that lacks.
A brainstorming session also can lead to
brainstorming session to understand the problem. Okay, Dr. Kirti.
Current issue. Something that lacks for a solution.
Okay.
When there is a need.
There is a need, of course. Okay.
Based on the real situations and based on the real observations and situations.
Okay. So if I would ask you to define a problem from this picture, what would you define? Tell me some of the problem statements. I can see a name, Miss Mahalakshmi. Can you switch off your mic and then you can have your personal conversation there, please? Yes, thank you. So yes, there is a picture before you. If you can see that picture, can you tell me some problem statements based on this?
Air pollution.
The pollution.
Air pollution. There's a need for an immediate solution.
Air pollution. What are the things? Can you think out of the box and tell me?
Climate change.
Climate change. Okay, one is pollution.
Sustainability.
Instead of saying one word, can you put in a sentence? That is, I asked a problem statement. I never asked a problem.
Immediate
solution.
Due to industrial.
Due to industrial. Please tell
Industrial
me.
pollution, climate change is increasing.
Okay. A problem statement is you are putting a question or you are proposing a hypothesis saying that does industrial pollution lead to climate change? Very good. What else you can think of?
It is affecting the crop.
Agriculture.
It is affecting the agricultural production.
The effect
Exactly.
of industrialization on the social ecosystem. Maybe even the human beings. See, it's not only the agriculture, it's also the population, people who inhabit or coexist around them. So, I mean, the effect of industrialization on the ecosystem surrounding the industry. We can also take it back.
Thank you, Dr. Kirti. So, I'm seeing multiple perspectives. One is I can see that, yes.
Sir, pollution is causing an effect on ecological sustainability.
Of course, it can. So that is one of the problems that you can see from the picture. And another one is about agriculture. And of course, you can imagine a way that elder brother is showing a younger brother about a factory there. So you can build a theory from a social science perspective about the brotherhood and about agriculture. And another one is two brothers are standing there to check when we can get an employment. That can be one of the views that you can do it. Or someone is loving the picture of the smoke actually merging with the clouds.
Absolutely true, sir. From social point of view, this can be the problem statements. Absolutely true.
Sir, health issue? Sir, I have another perspective. Like the two siblings are waiting for their parents who are working.
Exactly. That is one of the that is one of the response which my students gave at one presentation. Two children are waiting for the parents to come from the work. That is a very beautiful observation.
Right, sir. So it's about the work-life balance also.
Exactly. Very good. That is one way.
So in other terms, we can call it like from fields to factories, right? Human perception and responsibility.
Absolutely. You can give a
from fields to
way
factories.
Factories.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Human perception and responsibility in the age of climate change. It could be the another topic, right?
Exactly. Thank you. It's very, very, very.
Even, sir, I am imagining that the water reservoirs or the rivers nearby are polluted because of the water consumption, which is taken by the industry.
Of course. So I get a lot of creative.
Yes, sir. Unemployability, and as well as the low yield of fields, which causes the farmers or villagers to go to the nearby factories.
Exactly.
That scene can be imagined out of this picture.
Okay.
We can also call it smoke and silence, right? Smoke and silence.
I wish my students my MBA students are as active as you all, because nowadays students are not as active as how you are all. It's like
also the smoke, how it affects a child health. Maybe they inhale it.
Of course.
Maybe
so
it's a child labor.
Okay. I'll stop here. Thank you for your this one. So I understood. If you can understand the perspective, what I'm making is everything. So imagine, take this particular this one. Of course, we are not going deep, and take this one. And one is by examinations, or one by student life balance, or student-teacher relationship. Two students. And apart from it, if you can see that age of the woman, it may be like later education. So a lot of perspectives will come into it. So if you can look very, very good at the problem, It is not what we look at as a problem. We always look at the event. Understand? We look at the event. Anything which happens everywhere is an event. It is not a problem. Whatever event you're reading in newspaper is an event. So there is no problem at all. Nowhere there's a problem. Problem is a context which your brain develops, which we cognitively look into that. So for example, an employee firing 100 employees, employer firing 100 employees is an event. And fire accident is an event. Or a political party winning the election is an event. So everything is an event. So an event is a route. It is supposed to be a route. So a route has multiple branches while it grows. It has multiple branches. The roots has multiple branches. So the branches at one point of time, everything raised to different analog is different understanding, and the problems get developed. So as a researcher, the first response I got when I get about problem definition is you generate ideas. That is where in contrast to that, the next response I got is you have to look at the literature gap. Two contrasting things. What if we generate something by ideas? So it is called perspectives. Perspective is a dangerous and infectious disease of researcher at early ages. So we cannot put a lot of ideas in early ages, researchers. The moment you get very experience, or when you get very solid in the point and you are well respected people, then you can show perspective, because your brain is a coop of lot of data which you have read in literature. For example, in the last 12 years, I publish only in IT and marketing. So my area is digital marketing, IT and marketing. So in the last 12 years, I would have read more than 500 articles in my life. Definitely I would have read 500 articles all my life. So what happens is, every time I wake up, I have this analogy, I have this thought process which is coming out of this 500 articles. But look into early researchers who have gone only to some 10 researchers or 20 researchers. They cannot put perspective. This perspective will stand without a true root. So that is one. I think someone is scribbling on my PPT. Okay, anyway, I'll take a childish step. Okay. That is one part. So you have to eliminate perspectives. We have to try to understand the link between event and problem in a very realistic way, from a researcher way. There is an event problem, there is a research problem. Another one is every event which doesn't have a problem, any event which doesn't have a problem, but it has an opportunity to be investigated. It has an opportunity to be investigated. For example, take this one. This particular crowd scenario may not be a problem if we think it is not a problem. This picture was taken during COVID. Which actually says like people doesn't have this social distancing while doing it. So that is a problem. Imagine this is not a problem. There is an opportunity to investigate about it. This opportunity will give a need for it. So the problem is identified, the problem or the need is identified from the event or opportunity. So first we have to understand that event. Where will we identify events? That is the main thing. Most of the time, if you want to do research, the better part is don't read literature immediately. Do not read literature. Try to read a lot of news articles. Try to read a lot of facts. Try to read watch a lot of TV channels. In the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks before starting a research in a given area. For example, if you want to start in work-life balance, you have to read a lot of general news in work-life balance. For example, recently I read the news that a Google employee who was earning around 36 crores per year left the job and come and started agriculture in his own hometown. This is an event. So the moment you read this event, you get a problem in it. You get a problem. Maybe you get multiple problems to understand into it. So if you immediately say like, I want to do work-life balance study, and you started identifying a problem from literature saying that work-life balance, chala, I'll do a SEM analysis, and you put 3 models. and you say this is a dependent variable, and you do a structural equation modeling. So what happens is you are only lighting a candle from the existing candle. No, that is not the way that research happens. Even though you do systematically and everything correct, the contribution what comes out of the research will not be that great. Instead of that, if you start with something called event, reading newses, reading this one, once you have narrowed down your event to a certain point, why that Google employee has left, why, and then you come into a point. So there is an article, the Google employee has to spend 12 hours a day, though as a money. So now you're linking hours, money, and happiness, 3 things. So now you have a tripod, hours, number of hours a person is working, the money is earning, happiness. So from that particular one case study, you can understand hours leads negatively to happiness. Money also sometimes lead happily to negative. So money can be used as a moderator. So if that is the case, you are trying to understand a problem from the event, not from the literature. Once you have identified this problem very clearly, then you go to literature. Then you identify and precisely maintain the problem from a theoretical point of view. So who has done already? If someone has identified about money and problem already, then you are nichely going into it. That is where it becomes into it. So that's where the real problem comes. There is an event problem. There is a research problem. You always have an event problem in hand, and you are trying to bridge that particular event problem from a research problem angle. That is, you are bringing conceptualization. For example, the moment I say hours, money, and happiness, if three things I understand from the event, from the Google scenario, I am trying to bring this conceptualization here. So hours, time, and then you have money. Money you can put as value. And then happiness, you can touch in terms of joy or happiness itself. A lot of studies are there. There is a theory of happiness. Literature is also available there. Lot of things that you can do from your angle. Lot of things that you can do from your angle. So that is where that particular conceptualization connected to it. Apart from it, you connecting the variables also in a better way, and also there is a theoretical difference. So this event problem is converted into a research problem. Understand in the process. First thing is you are identifying the event, and then after identifying the event, you are trying to identify the problem from the event, and then after identifying the event problem, you're trying to convert that into a research problem. Okay. So now, can anyone tell me, there is an event here. Can you tell me a research problem and tell me what theory can be used for it? If anyone can tell me. I'll give you 1 minute. Think and tell me.
Your question?
Stakeholders theory.
My question is very simple. One is, you have an event here. Whatever you're seeing in a picture graph is an event here. An event here.
Okay.
So I want you to formulate a research problem, research question here, and tell me a theory or concept in which that has to be investigated.
I request, sir, please stop the annotation.
I don't know, someone is writing it. I don't know why.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coordinators, please see this one.
Yes, maybe the coordinator sir can
Disable the annotate option, then you can solve the problem.
I think they have to explore also. Someone in the chat has in 714 itself, Suresh Babu sir has told about a systematic process, which is the right answer. I didn't notice it, but he has told long back. Very good. Thank you. So I don't know, someone was annotated. Okay. So this one, can anyone tell me a research problem? So see, when you say event problem, that doesn't have a theoretical underpinning or conceptualization. But the moment you say research problem, it has a theoretical pinning and also conceptualization. That is very, very important. For example, if I will say an example, event problem will be a lot of pollutions are there. Very simple. That is very simple one. But in what way the pollution can be seen from that becomes a theoretical angle. Pollution can be seen from ecological angle. Pollution can be seen from a human angle. pollution can be seen from life angle, which each and every angle diverges into different theories. So when you see pollution from ecological angle, so we can see from the theories of ecological economics. So the moment you see this particular problem from a human angle, you can see this theory from human better life a theory of better life. That way you can look into it. When you see from animals angle, you can see also from a theory of animal sciences. So there are different ways. Instead of generally saying this is an even problem, you can directly take into a research problem. I'll stop the screen and share again 1 minute. Okay. Please
So
don't
can we
elaborate.
call it as like industrial growth versus environmental health, wherein we can apply the environmental ethics theory?
Of course, but do you think like these things are because of industrial growth, whatever? These are about peoples. You can actually research about civic sense of people. Whatever you are
waste
seeing is
management
Very
issues,
true,
sir.
very true.
very true.
That is.
These
Waste
are like civic
management.
sense, waste management, civic sense. Most of the times it is civic sense. People just throwing out, especially when you have a bridge at the top and people
Sir,
are throwing out.
even if you take waste management, we can also apply stakeholders theory.
It can absolutely right. Whatever you're saying is absolutely right. So theory is a lens. That is what theory is a lens. For example, take this one about disposal, waste management, and this one. This one, for example, is an event. Two children watching a mobile phone is an event. But when you go from a theoretical angle, you can take theory of child development. So this is where the real aspects of the researcher becomes very beautiful. Rather than thinking from a very blunt point of view, you become very organized, you become very systematic to understand why children are doing it, and you're trying to make a theoretical underpinning with it. And from your theoretical underpinning, you don't need data, you only need your research acumen to understand the real context of the problem. You can do a lot of theories into it. You can work on theory of child development, human development, children brain development, cognitive sciences,
Classical conditioning theory.
classical conditioning theory, Pavlov's even Pavlov's classical conditioning theory. You can use n number of theories where that's what real problem is. Children are using mobile phones. Now the research problem is how children are conditioned to use. The moment you use the word conditions, whether it's operant conditioning or classical conditioning, how children are conditioned, classically conditioned to the moment you use that word in research event, then it becomes a beautiful sense of saying that you are bridging a theory into your research question. That is where your problem becomes more into your research problem. So basically it's a lens. It's basically a lens you look at the problem. Is it like a glass that you wear before it? Instead of directly seeing an event, you wear a glass. That is why we call them as theoretical lens. The beautiful terminology is theoretical lens. That is, people always use theoretical lens. So in what lens you're seeing? I'm seeing from the mobile angle. Imagine the same picture, you can see from different views. One is the common views are there is postural studies. Postural studies is how you are viewing mobile phones. This is also there. So both the ways children are lying down. They are not sitting there. They are lying down in the bed and watching the mobile phone. So you can see from postural studies. For example, your postural studies. You can view from postural studies. Again, another one is you can see from biological angle. You can view from psychological angle. You can view from physiological angles. So the moment you wear a lens, and you see that problem, it's like a glass, and every glass you put, the lens you put, the color of the event will change. That's what I'm saying. The moment you put a postural lens, you look at the dynamics, ergonomical picture of how children are sitting. The moment you put a lens of cognitive disability, you will start seeing children as if like they're not cognitively well done. The moment you put from a commercial angle, you will start questioning the rise of mobile phones. The moment you put marketing angles, you start questioning the ethical pictures of mobile phones. The moment you put parental aspects, parental theories, You start questioning the integrity of parents there. So every lens you keep changing, every theory lens you keep changing, your problem will be defined in a different way. This is the very beautiful part. In a manuscript, this is what introduction section is.
Sir, I have a question here related to theory. See, you said theory bridges from the event to the problem statement. It helps you to conceptualize. So it is a lens. Now, the question regarding theory. See, I just had a doubt here. Do you have validated theories? If we are going to identify the theory, see, knowing all the theories is not possible. So how are we going?
So you
Now,
are speaking
what
about
are
theory
the
development.
available theories? Pardon, sir?
You are speaking about theory development.
Identifying the theory, appropriate theory to bridge. So how are we going to do this identification? So
that is about that is where your blend of your interest come into picture. For example, you are from which domain?
I'm from HR domain, sir.
HR domain. Okay. So you already have a primary lens in your highest is HR domain. In HR domain, you have multiple theories which you can aptly fit into it. So you have to choose the appropriate theory to fit into it. You cannot go into medical sciences and can you do? It's not possible. You cannot put a lens of medical sciences. So the moment you understand the problem here, there are multiple problems. The moment you understand the problem here, the primary problem here, that is children viewing the mobile phone, then there is a point in what lens, in what view you are going to do it. Multiple lenses are there. For example, take positional studies. Are there. So there is a theory of ergonomics. Sorry, there is theory of ergonomics. There is theory of positional imparchment and theory of embodiment. There are different theories we can do it. But the moment you put the apt lens into it, your variables differ. That is what I'm coming to say. The moment you put embodiments, there is 5 variables that you're going to look into it. The moment you put ergonomics, you're going to investigate about 10 variables. The moment you're going to put about your partial indexes, there is again 10 variables into it. So the moment there is nothing called a right theory or wrong theory, or you cannot say that whether the appropriate theory or not appropriate theory. The only angle is you are trying to understand which theory can be nearly able that you are trying to understand what it's about the event. That is where you can put in a theory into the point. So that is what it's on. For example, take information systems. You have TAM model, technology acceptance model. You have UTOUT model is there. There is again a technology diffusion model is there. Every model is there. But does it answer your perennial problem of what into it? And also apart from it, another one is like your DV, your dependent variable. Your dependent variable is another crucial thing. What is your DV here? That is also makes a very simple one. For example, my problem is children is viewing a mobile phone. That is my problem here. If that is a DV there. So what are the antecedents of children viewing the mobile phone, lying down in the bed? That becomes your DV. So your DV is very defined. That motivation for children viewing mobile phones lying in the bed. That becomes your DV. So in what lens you're going to view it? The lens will give you the independent variables on what way that is going to be do. So that equation is fulfilled by your theoretical underpinning. That is what it is. Can you follow what I'm saying, Dr. Kirti?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm trying to figure out because I was always having this challenge of identifying an appropriate theory when a problem comes to my mind, when I observe certain context, and then I say, which theory do I fit here? So that was always
means
a challenge.
First, you have to understand your dependent variable. The moment you understand your dependent variable, I understand that multiple theories can come and answer a different variable. No doubt about it. You are absolutely right. Multiple theories can come into it. And finding a apt theory is always a challenge because today I read a new theory on disembodiments in AI, which is a new theory, people coming with it. So it's very difficult to come and say like this theory well fits into it. But there is always a point of threshold or point of saturation, which at your instinct, you believe that this theory can be afterwards. So you have to stop at that threshold. You cannot keep moving. Then the problem stays as problem. You will not end up in putting as a theory. That is one of the aspects. So there are multiple theories that comes into a particular dependent variable. So it's very difficult to commit it. Of course, that is a bigger challenge. There is no doubt about it. You have rightly pointed it out.
And I think there is only one way. I think so, sir. You will have to go through the literature and identify what are the available exhaustive list of theories in the particular area. Then maybe you will be able to identify.
See, that's in publication point of view, that is okay. From publication point of view, if you say TAM has been used many times, or UTOT has been used many times, or theory of work-life balance is used mostly, so that I'll ignore these parts. So I'll start to find a new theory which can use it. This is from a publication point of view, it's a welcoming aspect. But does it do justice to your lens? It's what a bigger question that you have to ask yourself. Because when you approach from manuscript point of view, that is different. When you approach something from, that is what, doing research is different from writing research. That we have to understand very clearly. Doing research is not equal to writing research. Because last week I was at one agriculture university. I was teaching for 82 students about research methodology, and agriculture students have done wonderful research. Believe me, they have done beautiful post-hoc experimental model with 2x3 between subject design in ANOVA. Very beautiful research. When I asked them about what of the two, many students came to me and showed their work. And when I asked them, where did you publish? They told like they are published in paid journals. I was surprised. When I read the paper, the research of crop cut fertilization, their independent variable, dependent variables, everything is beautiful. But unfortunately, they don't know how to write it. But the research is top notch. If they know how to write it, that paper deserves to be an A star. But unfortunately, they have done multiple studies. They have done mixed methodology. They've done very beautifully, but they have done systematically also. But the only problem is they don't know how to write that paper. That is where
presentation. You mean to say the presentation?
No, not only presentation, the language part,
The
structuring the
convincing.
manuscript, structuring the manuscript itself. They are not able to do. For example, they are not able to bring a theory into it. They only say that what they have done, what is the result, what is the discussion. That is what they have done. They are not able to bring the manuscript requirement into the complete one. Even though they have attended, they are not able to do. They are from a different, their own mother language mediums. Their first language or second language is not English. So they are not able to write in a better way. So that's what, but their research, they have done very good. But I've seen many research which are very crap, which are published in A-star. Because these people doesn't know what to do research, but they don't know how to write research. That is one of the aspects. So it is not always about writing research. Sometimes we have to focus on doing research. So when we do research, maybe instead of looking into the theory being overridden, sometimes even though the theory is well used, but if you still feel, for example, theory of planned behavior by Arjun, I would say the theory has been raped. The theory was raped everywhere. So the theory has been used everywhere, but still, if you feel like TBP or TRA, theory of recent action, is aptly theory for my problem, behavioral intention, it's nothing wrong in using it. For example, behavioral intention of children using mobile phones. If you want to do theory of recent behavior, TRB, you can TRA, theory of recent action. Of course, you can use it. You don't have to stop it because already a lot of studies have used it, because that is why research stands systematically well driven. So it is mostly choosing a lens which is apt and approximately well done with the particular point. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you will learn it. You will learn it when we. That is a challenge even now I face. So once we start doing it again, but we have to stop at a threshold. We cannot only keep searching. That is one of the aspects. So the step 2 is developing an approach. What kind of way you are trying to do a research? One is 4 ways are there. One is whether you are going to do analytically, mathematically, graphically, or verbal. So analytical is all your cross-sectional. Even if you have a secondary data, you can do analytical model. Your secondary data can give you a mathematical model. Your secondary data can give you a graphical model or your verbal model. And graphical model is apt to design for your secondary data, especially if you're doing your SLR literatures. Those are very good. Okay.
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Sir, one doubt against the theory that we can choose. So when we are choosing one theory, Should we rely on only one theory to frame our conceptual framework, or we can
It
have
is
more than
welcoming,
two,
madam.
three?
It is welcoming because most of my reviews, most of my papers which are got rejected, 70% of the papers I've got rejected because of the theoretical problem.
Okay.
Because what happens is when you bring lot of theories into one, or even multiple theories into one paper, the editors start feeling that the theory has been diluted, and you are not focusing on one theory. That is one of the things. So it is always, you should be, there is a word called overarching. That's why I use the word called lens. Overarching, under lens. These are beautiful words that you use in manuscript. You can use multiple theories and multiple propositions to support your hypothesis. But as a whole, you should have only one theory to completely work on your whole model. That will actually help you out.
Okay.
That will actually have a mileage for your paper. That is very good.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, but when you have too many variables, you have a moderating variable, mediating variable, independent, dependent. Can one theory really do justice to all?
You cannot justify one theory, but have one overarching theory. Have one overarching. In your introduction, always bring only one theory. In your introduction, bring only one theory. Don't have multiple theories in introduction. If you bring multiple theories in introduction, the reviewers will definitely get annoyed. So always have one theory in your introduction. And in your discussion part, in your theoretical implication part, the first paragraph should be on your overarching theory. You should write a contribution of what your results are given to the original theory. But in your second paragraph, third paragraph, what you can do is you can add value to other theories. Nothing problem in it. For example, if you are, as what you rightly said, for example, you are using, imagine that you are using TRA model, TRA or TPP model, where your perceived control and subjective norms are leading to behavioral intention, and you're using moderator as your technology variables. So of course you can have your technology also as a second variable, but what you cannot directly quote that one in your introduction. Your primary one is like, you will say like, we are using to understand a different variable, we are using TPP as a major one. And in addition towards it, we are using a technology level moderators. That's when we stop it. In your theoretical implication, you will add more value towards it without diluting the major model. That is where your theory stands out. Your paper also stands out very, very clearly. Day before yesterday, I presented at a conference in Paris, which is for British Journal of Management, which is a 4 category and A category paper, which they have asked all the authors to present in between. It's a special issue paper. They asked all the authors. I proposed 3 studies. I proposed 3 study paper. So the only suggestion what editor gave is like, I don't want 3 studies. Though 3 studies is very good, but I want only one study with us only one theoretical contribution. That is a very interesting fact. I have used 3 theories. One is I've used decision support system. I've used self-efficacy. I've used another one is on theory of flow theory, not flow theory, theory of image from a value angle. So 3 theories are integrated, but the editor told me clearly, I don't want 3 theories. I want only one theory. I want that complete paper of 8,000 words to be driven by one theory. He told very clearly. So if you can bring one theory and you can write 3 studies in a mixed model, that is very good. But it is not very, very imperative to bring more theories into research paper in the introduction itself. That is not advisable always.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is one part. So we have analytical model, mathematical model, graphical model, verbal model. So it is like a mind focus. The moment you identify the problem, in which way you're going to route your problem. So it's not always the primary data. Sometimes you can use your secondary data to route your problems also. You can route it analytically. What is meaning of your descriptive and inferential?
The descriptive is talking or stating what is there.
Very
So
good.
many people have attended the FDP.
Very good. Very
This is
good.
descriptive. Inferential is you take it one step ahead. That out of so many people, only so many people gave the feedback. That means they were active during the session or something. Maybe you move.
I'll clear it down. I'll clear it down. In descriptive, your point in descriptive is very, very correct. This is a major thing that we have to look into it. This is population, this is a sample. Sample is a subset of population. Sample is a subset of population. So every time we collect a sample from a population, most of the time we never investigate the population. All the studies which I see nowadays or earlier days, I've never seen a population study, always as a sample. When you report your sample, that is descriptive. The moment you find the results of your sample and represent your results with the population, that is called inferential. That means descriptive statistics is your measures of tendency, everything will come under your descriptive. But the moment you go into univariate or multivariate analysis, these all becomes your inferential statistics. That means from the sample, you're inferring the population results using your p-value. That is what your inferential is all about. So your analytical model, if you are going for an inferential or descriptive study, that comes under analytical model. Otherwise, saying that whenever you have a hypothesis, mostly it comes under analytical study. What is descriptive is exactly reporting about a description. Diagnostic is why it happened. Predictive is forecasting. Prescriptive is recommendation. Excuse me. Okay, these are something that you have to look in analytical models. So descriptive studies also there. Diagnostic is going deep into descriptive, or sometimes it can go to inferential also. Predictive is prediction. You can use your ANN, you can use your multi-language tools, you can use your natural language tools and predict what it's about. Prescriptive is a very beautiful about, after all, whatever you have identified here, you're making recommendations based on that. Okay. So that's very beautiful. You take a doctor, you go to a doctor. So the doctor says, for example, I have a cold here. I have a cold here. And the moment the doctor observes me and he says, Jonathan, you have a cold here. Yes. The moment you say that, it is descriptive. He's only observing me. He's not diagnosing me. He's observing me. Then what happens is he takes a thermometer or he takes a BP machine and then you uses a stethoscope and he diagnoses me. That is diagnostic. Diagnostic is tools. Diagnostic is tool. Diagnosis is not by tools. Understand? Diagnosis is different. Diagnostic is different. Diagnosis is without tools. Diagnostic is with the tools. That we have to understand. That is the difference between when you go to a doctor, diagnosis center and diagnostic center. So a consultant without any tools is diagnosis. A consultant with the tools is diagnostic. So we use a lot of tools. We have softwares, we have questionnaires, and we use your pen, pencil, everything we use. So we do diagnostic. We never do diagnosis. When you start writing only by a perspective without using any tool, then it becomes diagnosis. To reach that level is a bliss. For example, people don't accept our paper if we start writing diagnosis. That is what we call them as perspectives. Sometimes when you look at journals, there is a section called perspectives. There is something called opinion papers. That's also called opinion, reflections, editorials. These are something we call them as diagnosis or perspectives. So diagnostic is we are allowed to use tools, and the doctor uses the tools. The doctor uses a stethoscope, the doctor uses a radar, and he says like your fever is this much, you have to do it. Then the doctor predicts what may happen. You have this descriptive, you have been designed this way, you may get a fever for next 2 days, or you may get another more cold, or it may subside in next day. So based on which he gives a prescription. So understand, he derives, describe, he diagnose, and then a doctor, she predicts, the doctor give a prescription based on it. This is a beautiful path of analytical model from understanding a sample or from understanding a secondary data. This is analytical model. Graphical model is another one where you give everything from a graphical point of view. And then you have your mathematical model, which is mostly used in operation research, econometrics, optimization. Everywhere it is used mathematical model, mostly of deriving everything. So comes under mathematics completely. And social science research is using mathematical model predominantly, especially from operational science. And of course, we have a lot of papers in operate. And of course, there is a beautiful model called verbal model. As what I rightly said, commentary, opinion articles, response article, these are something which you can think of. So a lot of papers have come from your this particular end. So there are approach. One is you have 4 models. One is analytical model, mathematical model, graphical model, and verbal model. We have this 4 models which we can think of and choosing it. Then how we orient our research this is the second type. Whether you want to build a theory or whether you want to confirm a theory. Understand whether you want to build a theory or whether you want to confirm a theory. That is very, very important. So building a theory is lighting a new lamp, lighting a new candle in a dark room. And confirming a theory is there is already a candle and you are putting a new candle with a different color. That is what you're doing. But you are not lighting any new candle, which is very new by nature. So that is called inductive. You are inducting. Inducting is opening up a research that becomes inductive. So from the observation to theory, the same way in the theory is already there, you collect that data and you observe it, that becomes confirmed. This is true. First one is you are trying to understand whether you want to do analytical model, verbal model, mathematical model, or graphical model. Another way around is whether you want to do inductive research or deductive research. That is very, very important. So the good part is if you use secondary data, this part can be built up. That is the beauty of secondary data. So when most of the research I've done lot of studies with
Sorry
secondary
to
data.
interrupt, Professor. Do you need
Yes.
a break for 15 minutes?
Can we take a break for 15 minutes? Is it okay?
Yeah. We'll be back at 8:30.
That would be done.
Okay.
My throat
Dear
is not getting
participants,
time.
we'll take 15 minutes break, okay? We'll meet again at 8:30, so kindly stay online. So you can go for a break, sir.
You can also take a break, browser.
Thank you, sir.
See, attendance link will be shared by the end of the session.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, sir. Yeah.
Yes. So, okay. So this is what we are seeing last. I'll just rush a little bit fast because we have only 1 hour. I have to complete the secondary data, and then we have to go into this session on publishing papers. That is also, so what are the ways that you can go into it, that both the sessions has to be covered. So I'll rush a little bit fast into it. So inductive, I told you that it's from bottom to top approach. In other ways, saying like how you start from observation and going to theory, that most of the time secondary data is very applicable one. And this directive is from the theory to confirmation, where you have a data and you keep confirming it in different context. So you are adding value to the theory. That is, there will be a root and the theory will be this much, and you will bring a branch into it. And again, someone will bring a branch into it, a theory will start growing. The root will be started by someone else, but the theory will start branching out at each and every level. At one point of time, you feel like the tree is sky high, but despite that, lot of soil remains unfertilized and a lot of trees become not grown at all. So that is also very important, and why this particular inductive research is very, very important, which is comparatively greater than compared to your deductive research most of the times. So this sometimes it's greater than your deductive research. So, but 90% of the complete social science papers in deductive research, and rarely 10% or even less than 10% of papers are there in inductive research mostly. But inductive research is about generating new hypothesis and theory, that is very, very much, and theory development mostly comes into it. So one good example is like you can do qualitative approach in inductive research, and as well as you propose hypotheses and you introduce new finding or new theory. That is very important. Theory is a statement. Most of the time theory is a statement. So theory is about this, what this is. So saying that when it's night, it used to be cold. It's kind of a theory that we say from factual observation. For example, you observe maybe like 365 days of data, and you find that night is much colder than morning. So that is a proper hypothetical response that you are trying to make it. So everything based on the data, what you have collected, you are trying to propose a new theory in that ways. For example, student listen to class when the classes are scheduled from 10:30 to 11:30, and the student used to sleep more when the classes are scheduled from 1:30 to 3:30. So in the afternoon. So these are something based on observation of data. You propose these theories. Theory is a statement most of the times. So that statement is proposed, extended, and more branched out. So that is about your deductive and deductive. So going further, we have something on design. This is where the systematic things happen. You can see the commonalities in these pictures. One is the design of the cup. It is made for right-handed person, but left-handed people cannot drink it. Or it is meant for left-handed, but right-handed people cannot drink it, otherwise round. So this is one. And you can see there is a outlet which is more than the surface area. And someone who doesn't like to close the door while going for toilet, that is a second one. There is one a playground or playing where they don't like the children playing there. That is a third one. And the way that writings are there, no safety, smoking first, and also the person who is an architect, what you can see. So these are something that exemplifies the word of unsystematic. So how we are able to draw a line between systematic and unsystematic is given in this context. So research design is a blueprint of conducting a research. This is a research blueprint most of the times. So we have exploratory, research design, and we have conclusive. Conclusive is very simple. You can write something called conclusion. Very simple. You cannot write a conclusion on exploratory study. You cannot write a conclusion on exploratory study. You can write something called insight. Still, there are many papers who do that mistake. They do exploratory study and write something called conclusion. No, conclusion cannot be read written in an exploratory study. You can write only insight, or you can write proposition or understanding or reflections. You cannot write a conclusion on exploratory research design. That is cannot, because exploratory designs usually gives path to other research designs. So it's like inductive research. You propose an intermediate theory, the theory becomes applied at the later stage. So you introduce a theory, the theory becomes applied at the later stage. So you cannot directly propose applied theory. No, that is not possible at all. There should be multiple experiments, and then you have to make the theory more applied. So science people know it far better, even more than what I know. This is. So when we come into exploratory, you have secondary data analysis, you have qualitative data analysis, many aspects are there. When you come into conclusive, we have descriptive and causal. Descriptive is about cross-sectional and longitudinal. So longitudinal from the secondary data angle are called as panel data. And the secondary data angle is called as panel data. That is how the particular variable differs across different time intervals for the given context. That is what we call them as panel. That is in longitudinal design. So in single cross-sectional, multi-cross-sectional design is the same population is not collected multiple times. Different population is collected at different sample is collected at multiple times. That becomes your multiple cross-section. If you collect data at one point of time and you will collect data from any point of time, that is single cross-sectional. So whenever you write a paper and if you've done you have collected data, most of the times it is single cross-section. And if you have done data collection at different time intervals, different sample, that becomes multi-cross-sectional. Imagine a case, you have collected data from the same sample, but at different intervals, that becomes longitudinal design. Okay. These all comes under descriptive research. That means descriptive research is you are describing the data. You're describing the data. The same way causal research is you're trying to understand the cause and effects. Most of the time, this is called as experimental. This is called as experimental. So this is the broad difference between exploratory and conclusive research. When you come into exploratory, these things are there. Qualitative research procedures, direct and indirect. Direct is non-disguised. That means like you're directly speaking with the participants to understand the problem, like focus groups and better previews. Indirect is disguised. You're not revealing your identity. So you go for projective techniques. For example, your association techniques, completion, construction, expressive. For example, there is a child who is crying for 3 hours daily. You don't know why the child is crying. You cannot go and ask the child why it is crying. So what you have to do is you try to imply or disguise yourself as a friend to the child and ask why the child is crying in a way that these ways. You associate certain things. That means you give a template of pictures to the children and you ask the children which you like most and you tell me why you like the most. So the children will try to associate itself with a cartoon character and it will try to say like why it likes it most. So you try to associate certain problem associated with it. Completion techniques. For example, some people will write a story like that. A turtle runs very fast and then you put a space. A positive person will write a turtle runs very fast and wins. And the negative person will write a turtle runs very fast, suddenly it fell down and died. So these are some perceptual mechanism that you use in completion techniques. Construction techniques is you draw a picture like this and ask them to complete the picture. Someone will draw like this. Someone will draw like this. Some people will draw angry one, or smiling one. Some people will draw like this one. So different people will have different construction techniques. Last one is expressive techniques to understand what they do. So these are mechanisms which we do in a disguised manner to understand about the people, which is indirect. So this comes under the exploratory part. This comes under the exploratory part, where your secondary data can be useful part in both conclusive and exploratory. That is one of the aspects. So what is secondary data basically? So I request you to read this particular one. It's a very beautiful definition given in 2017 paper by Johnston. I saw this. I remember reading this paper, qualitative report in Emerald. I think not Emerald, it is Springer, I think. So this is what secondary data that were originally collected for the purpose other than the research at hand, but are being reapplied to address new research questions. That is, someone has used this data, collected the data, and sharing it to others to make use of the data. That is the major importance of secondary data. It is well available everywhere, but it's very underestimated, and we don't use it very normally. We never use it, in fact. We rarely use it. So there are different published statistical data, as what you say, World Bank, IMF. In fact, a lot of codings are available in Google Colab in free sets. You can download it with API codes from World Bank or Twitter, wherever you want to do. You can take published statistical data, example sources. Apart from it, company annual reports are very good source of information for secondary report to understand operational expenses, employee database, and CRM logs. These are very, for example, you want to understand employees, how to say, lunch time, or employees login time, or employees particular time during Mondays or Fridays. So you can take CRM logs to understand that particular employee database also. Survey data is another one. Whether you go for Pew Research or World Value Census data, that is also a very good example of survey data. Apart from it, we have some of the repositories like Kaggle and UCA mechanisms which can give it. And apart, these are like ready-made data that you are available. These are ready-made data which are available. Apart from it, you have something called unprocessed data, which requires you to process. That becomes speed, reduce blocks and website. I was, before the class started, I was looking into some of the teaching from text mining about LD and many paths, which can be a very good source of your secondary data analysis. Where the data is already available, you don't have to collect new data. So the data is already available for other purpose and you're using into it. So especially Kaggle, don't underestimate it. If the Kaggle, but the only problem with Kaggle is you don't have, it's very difficult to certify in your research paper that I collected data from Kaggle, because Kaggle sometimes uses simulated data. Simulated data is like people simulate data and create data for many research problems, which may be very tough. So that is why Kaggle data are sometimes very dilemmatic, and you cannot use it directly. Apart from it, you have your policy document. Yes.
So sorry to interrupt in between.
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to find out some data related to government reports on innovation indexes. Is there any such website where I can find
Yes,
these?
it is there. Indian database is available. Indiadate.gov is there. IND.gov is there. You can, innovation especially it is there. But you want to do for innovation from which industry you want to do?
I wanted to do related to Blue Economy and Innovation Index of India and connection with different countries that we have.
No, you check, first one is you check on World Bank data.
World Bank data.
That you should, World Bank, but the only problem with World Bank data is they usually have all developed nations. But the only problem is they don't have, they have very less data about developing nations, and they mostly don't have data for underdeveloped nations. That is the problem with World Bank data. But this innovation index is a very good point, especially World Bank data is very good in sustainable indexes. If you want to gather some information on the 17 measures of sustainable indexes, World Bank is giving very good data. And if you want to collect data, for BRICS and SARC, UN data sets and World Bank is very good. They are giving so much of data into it. And but the only problem is when you want to do from comparative angle from India with other angles, especially G20. If you want to do in G20 or G10, there is a you may not get all the data. That is what, but again, Indian data is always tough. You would not get for every variables. But you add a very beautiful point of innovation. So I think innovative points you might get it, but again, innovation in what point of view you have to do it. There is one index called Ofsted index. People might know from HR domain, organizational behavior domain, they may know it about Ofsted index. So Ofsted index is a very good source of secondary data. A lot of comparisons can be done. The 5 dimensions of Ofsted can be done also.
Spelling, sir?
So these are some of the
sources
that you can get it. Don't underestimate it. Use that as much as possible, as what before the session start, Dr. Morali was speaking more about this part. Very underrated element. See, the benefit of secondary data is at the start of the session, I told you one thing about true score with observed score. Okay, true score is equal to 1 minute. True score is equal to observed score. When you do primary data, it is very difficult to get this one. But when you analyze something from secondary data, it is very possible. That is why even today, most of the research is giving so much of importance for this secondary data. Especially that's why finance research are very good. Finance research, because you're not getting data from perspectives. You're not generating data from perspectives. You are not asking survey and you're trying to answer it. You are trying to report something which is descriptive by nature. And most of the times it also represents the population at a very higher level. Your bias is very less. When the bias is very less, your reliability and validity is very high. That is a beautiful point of research. The lesser the bias, the reliability and validity is good. Reliability is about consistency, validity is about accuracy. Both are highly present in secondary data. Both are, because no one is going to report bad about a company annual report. It's going to be true score. That is why finance research is rated very high compared to other researchers. Finance and economics is comparatively regarded as very great research papers. Even operations, they are more regarded than marketing and HR, because they follow secondary data. They don't follow primary data. So primary data researchers are perspective. Today, whatever we report will change. And again, whatever the data we get is prone to a lot of biasness. So when your biasness is very high, you tend to get into this factorial part that your true score is not equal to observed score. For example, if your true score is 5, you will get a score of 3. So there is a 2 biasness is present there. But in terms of secondary research, 5 is equal to 5. That is why even today, secondary research in economics, even though that is whether it's greater paper or non-greater paper, secondary data analysis is much regarded in a higher level. Okay, you don't have to have a better variables. You don't have to do. Even there is a 2 or 3 variables, and you can do a descriptive analysis. There are a lot of journals who can give respect to your particular one. I was in editorial confluence in last year November, and they were saying about it. Even marketing people were speaking about. There was one editor from a past editor from Journal of Marketing, which is V. Kumar. He was even saying that that they want to mostly welcome papers from secondary research rather than primary research, like this one, at least this one, because you cannot change the tweets. You cannot change. Lot of Twitter is used everywhere. Today you have lot of tools, even decode pictures, and you can decode your reviews. You can scroll through it. You can crawl towards it. You can scribe everything, and lot of ways that you can convert your secondary data into a structured pattern. Before there was a ways that secondary data cannot be converted into a structured pattern. But today we have lot of tools, lot of techniques where you can convert your secondary data into a structured pattern. That is where these all becomes very beautiful. You take lot of criminology studies. I've used this one, Journal of Criminology. There is a beautiful journal, sir. They have used this one. They try to use all policies. Every public recording in police stations are now used in criminology. That's the secondary data. So every recordings, for example, if one signal post is there in particular town, and that's observing more than 1 million people crossing that signal post today, they have 1 million data point. So imagine 1 million data point you're going to analyze in that part using the criminology, how fertile that particular secondary data is. So that is where the secondary data becomes very important. Just look into this RQs. So all the RQs is possible to get into a secondary data. In fact, I want to give you exercise, but we don't time. It's already 8:50 because we want to run into another PPT also. So I cannot give that, and we cannot wait for time. It's already 9 o'clock. I know you will be also in between your meals and everything, so I don't want to disturb you. So one is online customer sentiment affect the sales performance of e-commerce product. This can be done. Sentiment analysis from data collected from tweeters and everything can be done with it. How do customer social government social welfare expenditure influence poverty reduction across Indian state over the last decade? This is a very good example. In fact, this is a possible research question that anyone can investigate. So there is a variable called government social welfare expenditure, which is available in India data. So that is available in indiadata.gov. You can download it, as well as the poverty data is also available. You can use the panel data. What is panel data is, for example, variable 1, variable 2 in 2010, 2011, likewise till 2025, for last 15 years. Okay, maybe 2024, the last 15 years, each and every variable, what is the reduction? So you are able to understand the difference in the variable for the 15 or 14 years, for 15 years. That is the benefit of this. So you can understand a variable, the differences over the years. This becomes a panel data. If you are collecting only data for 2010, that becomes a cross-sectional secondary data. The moment you collect it for multiple time frame, that becomes a panel data. So that is one of the benefit of secondary data. Primary data, longitudinal is very tough. In primary data, we call them as longitudinal. In secondary data, we call them as panel data. So getting a longitudinal study in a primary data is very tough. You cannot go to the same person, ask again and again, the biasness will be there. But the only luxury that you have in secondary data is you can do a panel data. That is where it becomes very, very good. What factors are associated with the increased life expectancy across country? Here you can bring lot of variables and trust the life expectancy here. This is possible across country. You have life expectancy variable in your World Bank index across country. Maybe like 140 countries they have it. You can take and you can do a regression to understand what are the factors which are related to life expectancy is equal to constant plus you have 111 plus error term. How many variables you want to put on, you can put in. And this is one thing which the professor, doctor was asking before, adoption of artificial intelligence employee productivity innovation in firms. So she was asking about innovation in firms. That is also possible. Now companies are reporting their employee productivity innovation firms. You can collect from 15, 16 companies from the secondary data and you can start analyzing. These are very good examples that you can think of. Just have a look at it. What are the ways that you can get data from it? Okay. So these are some papers. I'll share that people, you'll have a look at it. There's papers which I have uploaded in the Google folder also. You can look at it. This is one paper which is done completely from secondary data in 2003. You can see the citations. 4,881 as of now today. So maybe tomorrow if you check, it might go 1 or 2 higher. So you can check it out. It is done only from secondary data analysis and see the citation level in 2003. This is a very good paper. This is a very good paper that based on the secondary data they run it. And this is also a 4-star paper, American Economic Review. That is one of the things. See, you have to believe one thing that even Nobel Prize is given to economists. They haven't used the primary data. They have mostly used the secondary data. So secondary data is that much valuable compared to our primary data. But unfortunately, we don't know how to use secondary data. That is a bigger threat that we have in our research culture. And more importantly, we don't have access to secondary data like other countries. When you go to other countries, lot of repositories are there. European repositories are there. And then we have lot of repositories. We have lot of data, lot of company data, lot of data, and they give it to a business process BPO sectors, organizations, and even they take variables and they feed it inside and they keep the ready data. But unfortunately, we don't have that one. If you are searching for Reliance Industry Limited, we have a complete 88-page report, but we don't have exact reports what you want. That is a problem in India that we have. So the data is a problem in India while it comes to secondary data corridor. This is again a 2016 paper which comes in AMJ, Academy of FT50 Academic of Management. Everyone knows AMJ. So this is also a very good paper which they have done from mergers and acquisitions from a secondary data angle. Again, that is why I told economics and finance is very good in terms of secondary data. This is marketing science. Again, see user generated content, user 6 markets and 15 people, 4-year period. This is a panel data. The moment they say like 6 market and 15 people, that is 6 market, 15 for 4 year. So this becomes a panel data. So this panel data is possible only with the secondary data. It's very difficult to predict or do a primary data and do a analysis like this. That is why it has a very good citations. Also, given that the data is user-generated content. And this is from Journal of Marketing. Journal of Marketing. And this is from a famous paper was used as scientific data from Yahoo Movies website. And that's, of course, got cited by 3,910 people. And this is also from Journal of Marketing 2023, believe me, 2023. This is also, see, they have taken publicly listed companies of 10,000 reports, and they are trying to understand their advertising spending with their performance. That is a very good thing. That's a very simple study, and they have got reasonable citations also. So these are very good examples of how you can do it. This already we saw it. So what are the analysis that you can do in any data? Descriptive, I already told you that you're describing the data. Inferential is another one where you try to infer the results of the descriptive study to a larger population. For example, if you are taking data from 15 companies which are in FMCG and you are finding that operational expenses does not lead to sales performance, that same thing you are applying to all the FMCG companies across the universe, then that becomes inferential naturally. If you're only reporting for the 15 companies, that becomes descriptive. But the moment you say like I'm applying the results of 15 companies to the whole FMCG, it becomes inferential most of the cases. Multivariate analysis, univariate analysis, you know very well. Panel and time series analysis, well used in your economics and not limited to economics. You can of course use in HR and marketing studies also, but more appropriate when you use in economics and financial studies. And causal and predictive analysis is a very beautiful one. Predictive techniques. This part can be well used in marketing, text and content analysis, where that is the only luxury marketing has here. But only thing is you have to frame appropriate research questions so that you can get a text and content analysis. This diagram is very much possible. There is software called Gephi, or we have some software called PAJEK, PAJEK. PAJEK, Gephi, these are some softwares. Both are open source. You can download and you can work on social network analysis. That is very good part. And you have advanced econometric analysis. There is one software called WEKA. Some people might know. WEKA, WEKA. It's open source software where you can do a lot of econometric analysis. WEKA. Okay.
Sir, can you please write the names in the chat box?
You want me to write names in
these last 3 names that you have taken?
Okay. So meta-analysis, you know very well. Okay, thank you. Meta-analysis, you know very well. You can use our software. You have GephiNet. A lot of things are there available in meta-analysis. But apart from it, meta-analysis need a lot of background work to collect data and everything, especially literature review. That is the only problem that you have in meta-analysis. But it is very good that if you do it. Visualization and exploratory analysis, you know very well. NVO is a very good software. If you know NVO, it is very good. But NVO, it is one software where but it is not a freeware. It is not a freeware. NVO, it's a licensed version. If you have NVO subscription, it's good. And NVO is very good in qualitative analysis. You can understand a term called topics, labels, context, concept. There are 3 concept, topic, and labels. If you can diversify, if you upload a paragraph, it can give you all the 3, which can give you a proper diagram from it, visualization. That is also well. Lot of very least number of papers are using NVO. NVO is also very good one in qualitative analysis. NVO is very good in qualitative. And a lot of other UCNet is also there. lot of other techniques, tools are also there. And today the best tool to use is your ChatGPT. If you know ChatGPT very well, if you use ChatGPT productively, your learning will become so augmented, and you will learn a lot of things from ChatGPT. Believe me, that is one of the benefits of ChatGPT. If you can use it in a proper ethical way, rather than in an unethical way, you use it in an ethical way. Of course, anything in ChatGPT today becomes ethical because it's open world, open AI. So that is also underrated one. ChatGPT is a very fantastic tool that you can do whatever you want to do, and you can get a lot of ideas from it also. But given that ChatGPT also stores a repository, we have to be very careful with uploading contents because it may backfire us at any point of time. So that is the only caution that we have to be very careful about. So these are some of the analysis that you can do with secondary data analysis. Now, my question is, whether it's a secondary data or the primary data, are these two dishes different or same?
I think they are same, but they are presented differently, sir. The way they have put it is different.
Of course, Dr. Kirti, that is okay. This is the paper from
They have
Happy
presented
This is a paper which came in Happy which says that people doesn't only look at the taste, they look at the presentation also, based on which their liking goes up. This applies for a paper also. That means like it is not only your content in the paper, your presentation, the way you are making makes your paper goes mileage. It helps you to get mileage to the paper. It's really a paper. It's really a paper which you do it. So presentation matters. Well, not only your substance matters, your presentation also matters. So this is about your secondary data. And again, I'll share this presentation, whatever it is. I've run a little bit fast because already in IM2, I have another presentation now after this. So it's very difficult to complete into it. So this is about a report preparation, and you just have a view about it. And especially this is the main point. I've suffered it so much that sometimes you have done so much of research, but it get rejected because of bad presentation. I remember one, but I think I have one paper which I can show you. I'm not able to find out. Okay. That is, I want to show you a paper that I worked on the paper in 2017. I uploaded in a A-star paper and it went in review for nearly 4 times with 3 reviewers. And 2017 to 2019, European Journal of Marketing A-star paper in Emerald. So 3 years it was in review. And after 3 years, they rejected the paper. Only question is, they are not happy with my introduction section. That means I'm not able to write the gap very beautifully. That is a comment they gave and they rejected. They are happy with the methodology. They are happy with everything, but my presentation of my introduction was not very clear. I'm not able to convince the readers that my paper value more. So they rejected the paper. So that's what this is my actual pain, which actually I wrote that sentence with the pain, because sometimes, believe me, that paper I'm not able to publish anywhere after that. The paper still lies there with me. I'm not able to publish it anywhere. That's a very hard work. The paper, it's experimental study, but I'm not able to publish it anywhere. So there is a pain which comes from not able to reject send a paper. That is one part. So make sure that remaining steps are very clear and plan with your strength, but do not create ambiguity. Don't bring something into your paper which you don't aim to do or which you're not good at. We always do that mistake. So I will end up with this presentation for secondary data. I'll share this presentation in the group one. Have a look at it. I am not able to comprehensively do it because this I used to teach a day or half a day, but we had only 1 hour roughly, so it's very, very tough to complete within it. And we have another presentation to do it. So I will close now. I'll open my second presentation in that case. It's about very beautiful part on so guided development papers. Okay. Why if you would have asked me 5 years back what is the importance of paper publishing, I would have always said paper publishing is very, very important. There is a beautiful statement called publish or perish. So I don't know how far it stays relevant today because paper publishing is started seeing a little bit of decline in recent years because of major reason is a lot of AI tools have come, which has created a lot of unethical part. And another part is it's very difficult for editors to look into ethical research. You see a lot of detractions are happening nowadays. Lot of detractions are happening. That is because editors and notably a lot of detractions are happening in India. That is also a very higher part. In well-established journals, even IIT's detractions are happening. So detraction has become a very tough path, and the editors are questioning a lot of integrity when paper comes into place. That is why publication has taken a different step. And apart from it, publishing has become difficult compared to this one because I remember there is one paper which is, if people might know, there is a journal called, one minute, sorry. Yeah, I'll show my paper.
Yes.
1 minute, I'm trying to show one of this paper. Yes. Can you see my screen? My PDF?
No, sir, it's
No,
just the
no,
homepage of the PPT. First slide of the PPT is there. We cannot see a PDF.
Maybe I will share the screen completely. You'll be able to see. So this is my paper which I published in 2018, Computers in Human Behavior. So it's in 2018, and I remember the manuscript number for this particular journal, this particular paper. It was like and see the time of acceptance. It happened very fast also. For the paper we submitted in January, and in 6 months the paper get accepted. But we had 6 reviews. They have mentioned it as only 3 reviews here, but we had 6 reviews at the time. It's a very beautiful paper. I liked it very much. One of my favorite papers. At the time, this is my first A category to crack it inside. My first A category. So I always like it. So this paper. So
6 reviews in how much time?
It took 3 months. It took 6 months at that point, but today it depends. It depends upon the reviewers, because sometimes reviewers, what they do is, if you are at sometimes if you want to upload a paper, even though if you're not superstitious, sometimes believe it, you look at the good time, good day, and you upload the paper. Why I'm saying is because the editor will send an invite to multiple reviewers. The reviewers are not accepting it, because see, the only funny part of publication is, you have to understand, editors doesn't get money. Understand carefully. Editors doesn't get money. Associate editor doesn't get money. Reviewers doesn't get money. Most importantly, you write the paper, you don't get any money. But publishers get money. Elsevier get money.
Definitely, sir. What you said, it is perfectly true. If it is a season, if it is year end, then your paper will definitely take longer time for review only.
Especially if it is Christmas, don't
Yes,
upload
Easter
papers on
holiday,
November and
anything like
December.
that, then definitely it takes a long time for review
Long
also.
time, yes. So always upload the papers on March. Always don't miss the gap, because March is the time where they'll have a lot of summer holidays. So in there also, in UK and US also, summer is a very good time for them to spend a lot of time. You don't upload a paper on October, November, and December. It will take a lot of time. And if you are very lucky, you can get in January, February. But March is a very ideal time to upload papers, as what you rightly said. But apart from it, it also depends on reviewers. Sometimes reviewers say that they accept it to review, and they, for example, there is one review paper I have to complete 2 months back, but my mother is hospitalized, so I am not able to complete it. Yesterday I told I cannot complete it, but I have delayed it for 2 months for no reason. I have told many times I cannot do it, but the editor was persisting that I have done the first review, so the editor want me to do the second review also. So they can't do anything. So I told 2 months. Today morning I completed the paper and sent it to them. So I can't do anything, because my personal commitment is very, very large. That's why I don't accept for reviews. Daily I get 5 or 6 review interest from A star NDA. I never accept any review interest, because I know very well I cannot do justice for it. So that is the problem. So today getting reviewers are not easy for editors. And again, the point I'm trying to make is, if you take in 2018, which I published the paper, the manuscript number is, we uploaded in January. We uploaded the paper first in November in 2017. Then we re-uploaded in 2018. But when we uploaded the paper in 2017, the manuscript number is 518 in November. But last year we uploaded, not last year, last before year we uploaded paper in CSB. The manuscript number is 7080. 7,580. I think I have that paper also, if I'm able to see it. No, not this one. No, this is TFSC. This is another A category.
So sorry, but I have a weird question. Like this paper with Professor Dwivedi, there's so many authors. It must be very difficult for you to cooperate, coordinate with so many people.
No, I didn't coordinate. It's a Dwivedi coordinator. That is a talent of him. He coordinated it very beautifully. So when you take this paper, my content is here. I write my content and give it here. See, my content is he has given a proper contribution. Every papers we CC to everyone. Every paper's contribution, each and every contribution is CC to everyone. And you can see Carlos Flavian is the editor-in-chief of one journal with Sergia. Rafael Fileri is another editor-in-chief with Varsha Jain, you know very well, she's from India. And Cleopatra, that's why is the editor-in-chief of Journal of Brand Management. And John Witz is the Journal of Entrepreneurship. Everyone is editors. The only non-editor in this paper is myself. The only non-editor in this paper. That is why sometimes you have to be grateful to Yogesh in that case. And I wrote my part very well, and everyone has written their part very well. Yogesh compiled everything, and he is able to send it. It's a very good opportunity that I'm able to do it. Today, this paper has 1,000 citations. Today, this paper has 1,000 citations. Today, if I'm able to get 10,000 citations, that is only because of Yogesh. If you don't have given this opportunity to me, I wouldn't even touch 6,000, 7,000. And that's what I said. Most of the people here or editors. Most of the people are editor-in-chiefs. The only person who is not editor-in-chief or even not associate editor is myself. So this is the art of people. It's not that everyone can do it. Even I can't do it. I'm not able to get with 2 or 3 people. Some authors, some people have that organizing power. They're able to do it very beautifully. And
how it is possible? Like so many authors, you showed that paper. Is it like how many authors are there in that?
Is it conceptual paper? It's a conceptual paper, and everyone contribute their views on metaverse marketing. They contribute their views in metaverse. Everyone write their contribution. For example, one person writes in metaverse and marketing challenges.
But sir, having so many authors doesn't have any impact. Like, is it good to have such like means around I think 18 or something authors are there, contributors are there. So
but the paper has the viability. The paper has a very good thing because it's a pile of people writing a paper. It's a pile of people, very good, renowned people coming and giving their perspectives on what they think about metaverse. So what happens is, see, if 18 people are writing and working on a same model, one theory, it doesn't make any impact on it. But imagine 18 people or even 100 people coming and giving their views. That makes a very greater impact. You get a very larger knowledge about metaverse. That is the benefit of looking into it. So that is again, I was again searching for another paper on this line. I'm not able to get it. So that's about CHB. That paper is 5,000 yet. That is about.
Sir, you have said the word retraction. Exactly what is this retraction, sir? Generally, we get a lot of messages even in mobile or
retraction is a random process. Retraction is a random process. What they do is suddenly the editors will get asked the data for it. I have submitted, for example, this paper which I showed you in 2018. This paper, 2018, this paper I showed you. Last 2023, I suddenly get a call from message from Computers and Human Behavior. They asked me to share the data for this paper. They asked me to share the data for this paper. What I do is the moment I share the data, they will calculate the mean value for each and everything, whatever I've reported. And if the mean value and the reporting is going well with it, there's no problem at all. You are safe. But whatever the data you have collected is against what you have reported, then you are gone. They will retract your paper. The problem with retraction is you cannot publish in the journal after that. That is a problem. If Emerald is retracting one of your paper, you cannot publish in any of the Emerald paper. That is a problem with retraction. I think mostly that is the case. That is why it should be very careful about retraction. If you do ethical work, it is well and good. If there is some element of unethical aspects coming into it, and if they're noting it down, and retraction is anyone can raise the point. Someone from outside can raise the point and say that I am very susceptible to this particular paper. Can you check it out? And editor want to check it out. It's all editor's decision. If editor thinks it is retraction call, it's not only on the data side. For example, if the editor thinks that the reviewer has done a biasness, they can retract the paper. Nothing wrong in it. The editor has a sole right to retract a paper. I have got a lot of emails from editors to share the data. I have sent it everything. When my hands are very clean, I don't have to be worrying about anything. If there is a problem, then definitely you're going to spoil your career. That is very, very clear. So that is why retractions are a very, very humanities task. Even if you publish one paper per year, well and good, you publish it ethically. Even the paper goes into a C category, happy to go into C category. Don't worry about it. But a paper going into ethical C category is much, much greater than going into a paper of unethical paper in A star. So that has to be very clear. Because once retraction comes, there is a problem. You have to have I have the data from 2014 to 2025 today. I have published at least 62 papers. I have data for all my 62 papers, not all 62 because some papers are conceptual papers and some papers are non-data papers, commentary papers, those papers doesn't have data. But remaining 50 papers, 52 papers, I have data for everything. So anytime anyone asks for me from 2014 data, I'll send it to me immediately. Even if they want, I can show the output of their results. I can give it. So if that is very clear, they are also very happy. They can answer to the editorial board. Otherwise, it's a very tougher path. So that is why you publish in academic journals. What is the goal? What is the ranking? What is the selection criteria? These are some of the topics I thought I will discuss into. So whether it's necessary to publish in academic journal, that is a very big question that we have to ask ourselves. So don't only stay with academic journals, go to cases, case writing. Good research can be published in case writing also. So if you multiple cases is journal, understand completely, multiple cases will give a research. Single case also is a very good thing of research. Don't forget about it. Single case study is a very good, beautiful aspect of research. So academic journal is one end, single case also, and don't underestimate simulative exercises from a teacher point of view. So these are something which helps you to career growth in these things. But when it comes into this topic, of course, academic journals are theoretical pool of knowledge where you can publish and write into it. So what is why you publish in academic journals? Of course, I am in NIT Trichy. We don't have monetary benefits, but people who are in many colleges, especially in IIMs, they know very well each and every paper they get money. So that is a very bad culture in India, in fact, because they give money for publishing. That is one of the bad thing that because that also creates a lot of stress among people. That is not a welcoming aspect. So in NIT, it's very clear. You publish in Q1, you get recognized. That's all. They give some award. That is a very good
Sir,
aspect.
research can be done on this, sir. On the other hand, it motivates also
It is
in
research
some
already
cases.
done. The research has already been done. Research has already been done. Other country researchers has investigated on India and they proved that Indian academic culture is spoiled because of monetary benefits. They have already done research. Go in Google Scholar and try it out. Monetary payments for publications, you can see a lot of papers are coming into it. Not only here, Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, many countries. In France, it is given like that. But in France and European countries, they don't give directly for publication. What they do is they give even 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. What they ask you to do is they ask you to do research from the funding. They never give you monetary based on your research publication. They ask you to do a funding based research. That is a very good aspect. They give you money and ask you to do well good research. But unfortunately, so what happens is they accept even if the outcome is very less or high. But in India, what they do is they don't give funding before the research. Once you publish, they give research. They don't worry about whether the ethical part has been followed even, but they give very huge amount for the monetary part. So that is also scope of publishing in academic journals. But these you cannot ignore. This you cannot ignore. I like this part. Academic satisfaction is a very beautiful part when you publish in research. So you get very good academic satisfaction. Today I don't get anything, but I see my paper gets published. I get academic satisfaction. I recognize myself as academician. That is the only benefit that you get. And this is also very good. But this is more social oriented. You can ignore it if you don't want it. But this is very good. Career enhancement, promotions, tier movements, academic affiliations, and your affiliation. These all becomes very, very crucial in your scope of publishing. What is your goal in publishing? Whether you are running for quantity or quality, very important tool. Whether I publish one A category per year or I publish B category, 10 B category per year. That is what you do. Whether you want to do for citations and industry level, that's what I, when Dr. Murali told about citations is 10,000, I told him, citations is not the only index of getting successful. If there is one paper that industry has told that I have followed your paper, that is more than enough. If Britannia comes and says that you have done FMCG research, I am happy to observe your model and use it here. That is a very good, that is more than 50,000 citations. Whether to explore or confirm, whether you want to index the study or whether you want to deduct the study, whether you want to work on one domain on random interest. Working on random interest is not very wrong. For example, yesterday I wrote a paper on AI integration with Bhagavad Gita. So I wrote that paper. I was sitting there and I started writing that paper on my own. So sometimes it is not always domain. Sometimes you can work on your peacefulness. Whether you want to write books or yes, someone want to ask.
ले आए बर्गर ले आए आप कहाँ है
Dr. Anshu, can you mute it?
नहीं भाई
Okay. So whether you want to publish books or whether you go for academic journals. Okay. More importantly, can you hear me? Okay. I think it's
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So mostly never publish in paid journals. That is very important. Never underestimated. Don't lose your career by paying in paid journal because you want to do it now. Don't do it. When I say paid journal, you take it as predatory journals. And don't publish it. Don't put yourself down. Try to look at good publishers at least. That is very good. So some of the rankings that you can think is SkyMago. So SkyMago has a ranking from Q1 to Q4, quartile 1 to quartile 4. Quartile 1 to quartile 4 is quartile 1s represent the quality journals based on their impact factor and SkyMago rankings, and based on your longitudinal pattern, they will calculate it Q4. And another good thing is, for example, if there is a journal J1, they can be in Q4 in psychology, but Q1 in marketing. So that is possible. So at one domain, you can be in Q4, and another domain, the same journal can be in Q1. So that represents the holistic part of how many journals. For example, there is a journal called Psychology and Marketing. In Psychology and Marketing, is ranked as Q1 in marketing, but is ranked as Q4 in psychology. That is there. And then Web of Science is there. You have SCA, SSCI, SCI indexed, and you have HCA and ESA, Emerging Science Index. That is also there. And then you have ABDC, you know very well, A-star ABC. And then you have the ABS rankings 4-star, 4-2, 1. That is also possible. But if you publish 1 4-star or 1 4, that is a great impact. That is a great impact. And you can try jobs in European countries, because Europe naturally falls. So apart from it, you have FT 50, you have Texas 25. Texas 25. These things are also there. Apart from it, you have, for example, IIM Udaipur have their own journalist, and INSET have their own journalist, which they regard very high. So there are certain journals which they have their own journalist. These are some of the rankings that you can think of while publishing. So how do you select journals? One is for the journal or to the journal. For the journal is you write a paper for the journal. I choose the journal and write a paper for it. To the journal is I written a paper and identify a journal for the particular paper. Okay, these are for and to the journals. So these are some of the journal finder mechanisms that you can use it. I'll share the PPT. You can use it. You can copy paste your abstract and you can find the apt journal for it. Okay. So for the journal, I told you, based on the scope of the journal, based on the editorial board event, based on the recent issue, based on the article processing time, based on language and country, you choose the journal and write a paper for it. Through the journal, you choose from the references mostly. The moment you have written a paper, check whether your references are consistent. That is very, very important. That is very, very important in journals. You cannot have 2 references from IT. You cannot have 2 references from finance. You cannot have 2 references from marketing, 2 references from operations. The editor will reject the paper with no doubt. The first thing what editor looks or associate editor looks at the references. Don't forget, references are very, very crucial. Have consistency in references. If you are writing a paper, and make sure that is dispersed, at least your 40% of the references should be within the last 3 years. 3 years. And another important thing is like, make sure that you have cited the own journal, which journal you are uploading, at least 5 or 6, so that you are proving yourself there is a scope that you are fulfilling in the journal. And the list of the references should have consistency in the terms of, for example, if you're IT, lot of journals, for example, Information Systems Frontier, International Journal of Information Management, Information and Sustainability, and then you might have Computers and Human Behavior, Information Management. Likewise, you can have all the information management papers in your references. Don't navigate and go into Journal of Finance. That will actually question. Unless if there is something methodologically you are quoting the reference, don't bring other non-congruent reference into that particular selection of list. This is how the journal process. So when the author submits a paper, it will first go to editorial manager. And the editorial manager will check the scope or any missing data or any ethical data, they will check. If the scope is there, ethical data is there, they will move to editorial manager 2, or directly they will move to editor-in-chief. The editor-in-chief will not look into the paper. The editor-in-chief will give it to associate editor or regional editor. The associate editor, regional editor will only look reasons to reject the paper. Understand? Will only look reasons to reject the paper. No one want to accept the paper. So you have to be very clear. So if you receive 5,000 papers for the journal and you have to accept only 200 papers, so imagine the acceptance rate. It is very, very less. It's less than 10%, or it is getting near to something like 4%. 4% acceptance rate. So the 4% acceptance rate, just imagine. So they cannot read. So if the paper is not valued enough, they will not even send for review. So what happened? They will desk reject. They will desk. So before even submitting the paper, make sure your paper is, it's because you already spent so much of time in the paper. Don't leave the minor things like references, like tables not in proper structure. Look at the same journal's paper. Try to have a publishable ready paper and submit it. Don't submit a paper just like that, thinking like I will clear it in the review. Don't do it. I will work correct in the review. No, do. Many people have done it. Many people have a mindset that once it comes for review, I will do it, because you already spent so much of time. Don't miss something because of this one. The editorial manager will immediately remove it. The references are not correct. Lot of language issues are there. The editorial manager will not even go for these people. Editorial manager is not even a doctorate. They will reject it. If it goes to this part, this circle part, it's very good. So the associate editor will send it back to editor-in-chief. Editor-in-chief then assign it to the reviewers, and then the regional manager will assign to reviewers. The reviewers will send back into iterative process. At last, if everything is correct, editor-in-chief will accept the paper and send it to general manager. Till it goes to general manager, then there is a prospect that anytime it can be rejected. Today, even if you publish, there is a point that it can be retracted. That is the case altogether. So I think one lot of comments. There are some questions. Can I do a literature review for a book? Of course you can do it. Of course you can do it. But it depends upon the book chapter, book, what you're doing it. So this is the general process. So these are something that you have to be very careful about. You have to read the guidelines very, very clearly. So once after identifying journal word count, referencing format, whether it's one cure or whether it's APA, table, some table are this format. Table format is like that. Some tables are not this one, these formats. So you have to be very clear in it. Data and brief, whether you need data to submit, whether photographs or whether figures or whether textual figures, that has to be very clear. Or any format-free submission. CHB accepts format-free submission. Whatever you upload, they will accept it. So that is also possible. So cracking IRS, as what you do is have congruent paper. Have congruent paper. If your manuscript is 20 pages, you should have a congruence into it. Your 20% pages should be consistent. Like it should look alike. The references should alike. The figures should look alike. It all should circle within the 20 pages. People should not have the other mindset to go out. That is where congruence and consistency stays together. And your contribution and communications should stay together. You should communicate a contribution very beautifully. The comment which I got in that one paper, which I told in 2017, is they were keep saying that your contribution is buried. Your contribution is buried in the paper, but unfortunately, you're not able to bring it out. So that is where the crucial thing happens. This is one sample reviewer comments. That's one sample reviewer comments. 1 minute, I will try to show some reviewer comments of my paper.
It was very, very nice session, Jana sir.
So can I close that? What do you say?
No, it's not a symbolic way of saying that. Many were interactive during your session. Okay. So I think it is now 9:35. Attendance also posted. Thank you very much, participants. If there is any questions also, it's almost time. We should think of the resource person also. Just a minute. Yeah, fine, Jana sir. If you want, you can answer any question or you can.
Sir, 1 minute, I'll show one of my reviewer comments. How I
Yeah,
answered
yeah, yeah.
and
Fine, sir, fine.
I'm not able to get a detailed review comment, but I'll show you one minor one because I was just searching. This is for the this is for revision 1 I got. So revision 1, you always have that in mind that be polite to reviewers, always thank them for while summarizing it, whatever they are given, don't miss any sentences from the reviewers. So you try to thank your editor and reviewers at the top. And this is the first review. So what you do is there are 3 columns necessary: comments, response, and changes in the manuscript. This is very, very mandatory. So this is about a category paper. And I think it's a second revision or first revision, I don't know. It's very limited. So see, they have asked about the context, and I've told them I've included it, and then I've given what I've included in the manuscript. I pasted in the last one, so that the editor doesn't go back to, not necessarily go back into my manuscript and search for it, and you can directly do it. And of course, when you look at this part, where is it? This part. You also highlighted one bit. So you also highlight wherever the changes have been made, you're highlighting it also at one point. So it is both the ways. It is both the ways you're highlighting here, and also you are trying to respond the content. Whatever is highlighted in yellow, I'm trying to put it here. So if they have given a positive comment, also try to acknowledge it. And what are the reasons you are highlighting it, you try to do it. This is about review 1, I think. This is about review 1, what I've done. This is a very simple comments. I'm searching for some of the comments which are very, very, sometimes 4 reviewers used to do it. This is only 2 reviewers. 4 reviewers used to do it. But I'm not, this is about the same paper revision 2. This is same paper revision 2, which I have done it. The same reviewer, see here, they have told, thank you for revising your paper addressing the reviewer comments. This is editor. This is editor comment. This is editor comment. Editor, thank you for revising a paper addressing your reviewers comments. One of the reviewers from the first round are not available this time. See here. However, the other 2 reviewers are satisfied with comment acceptance. One of the suggests reducing the length of the introduction. I think this is the 3rd revision. This is not revision 2. That means revision 1, revision 1, and revision 2. This is the 3rd revision. See, this is the problem. As what I told, the reviewers, the same reviewer will not be available for the next time. That is why, if you get a revision, you have to submit as soon as possible. Otherwise, the reviewers will not be available. If the same reviewer is not available, the new reviewer will give new comments. That is a very, very, very bad state of the revision. That is why most of the people get frustrated. That is one of the aspects that we have to be careful about. So it happens. It's very, very it's unavoidable situation. I have faced these issues. Sometimes you near that acceptance stage, and you will get only minor revision. But editor for no reason send it again for revision for a new reviewer. It happened in my PhD days. There was one journal called International Journal of Research in Interactive Marketing, it's Emerald. It's only B category. But what happened, the editor is again sent it to new reviewers. The new reviewers, what they told is like, they started from beginning. I got very frustrated. I don't know what to do. So this happens with one of the A-star journals for me in recent days, Journal of Sustainable Tourism. The reviewers have accepted it, but unfortunately, editor is not happy. I don't know what to do. The 3 reviewers have accepted it, but editor is not happy with the manuscript. He told, no, I'm not going to publish it. So it is left out. These are possible. These are very much possible in any times and reviewer comments and everything. So reviewer types, it is very, very simple. They are author friendly or manuscript friendly. They will focus on author, not on manuscript, manuscript on author, journal specific, area specific. They'll be focusing on journal, not on area, or area not on journals. And they'll be kind, sometimes they'll be harsh. Sometimes review comments will be very lengthy, but sometimes it will be very short. Self-orientation, lot of egoistic comments will be there, not from publication point of view. Some people comment only on one section, methodology or discussion part or introduction part. Some people comment on holistic of papers. And some people only focus on knowledge, some people focus only on language. And more importantly, some people review and discuss with you on the revision. But some people will correct your mistakes. So these are some of the reviewer types that you can think of. So there's a lot of arguments that you can pitch on systematic and semi-systematic, everything. Anyway, these are self-explanatory. I'll send you the PPT. I'll upload into it. If we have some more time, definitely we can find a time to discuss it further. Lot of productive things. You can always reach me in my email ID, and I'll be always happy to have a conversation with you at any point of time. You can get my number from Dr. Morley anytime, and Dr. Morley will be helpful to you to suggest into it. It's getting very late. That's why I'm not able to. I'll be happy to comment and go further into it. Maybe if you have another chance, we'll again meet all together. I know that it's very, very simple, but I have to cover more. I'm not able to do a lot of justice.
Thank you very much, Professor Jana. Such a very interactive session. I see many participants have interacted with you and by showing the reviewer comments. You actually explored the real scenario of publications, editors, reviewers, and everyone. You are coming across every day, right?
Okay, sir, it's my pleasure. I'm sorry, my throat was not very good because I was not feeling good for
No
some
issues,
days.
sir.
I'm not able to speak very clearly. But thank you, Murali sir, for giving me this opportunity. If there is any another session that you need anytime, you please call me. I'll explain it far
Sure,
better.
sure.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, all the participants. Thank you. It's almost 9:40. We can join tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Kindly fill the attendance link, which is shared in the chat box. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, this is Professor Anu, the Professor of Business Analytics in our institution.
Oh, great. I saw as a co-coordinator. It is very good.
Nice meeting you, sir. It was really an informative and productive session.
Of course, sir.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay, thank you. Murali, sir, I think we can end the session. Yes, sir.